Hello and welcome to BACB sports coverage of this girls varsity softball matchup between the Groves Falcons and the Birmingham Seaholm Maples. Brad Fetters alongside Nick Buckler coming to you today from beautiful Beverly Hills, Michigan, as we get set to call the action today. And Nick, the weather looks like it's going to cooperate. The rain has moved out, temperatures in the low 50s, playing under overcast skies. It's cool. But we're going to have quite the doubleheader here today between our two rival schools.
Yeah, that we will. We weren't sure what we were going to have weather-wise when we made our way here this afternoon, but the rain is cleared. The sun's trying to peek its way out. A little cool breeze, but that's what you're going to get here in Michigan in April. And, you know, girls softball, that means summer is right around the corner, and it doesn't get any better than this.
These two teams have played quite a few matchups over the last couple years. This matchup has kind of been one-sided. Well, previous couple years it's been all Seaholm, but Groves kind of turned that tide as of late, playing much better softball under the guidance of Brian Baldridge. Has really brought a lot of stability to this Groves team, and this should be an interesting matchup as you get a look there at the captains and head coaches as they are meeting with the umpires. Two teams maybe evenly matched, maybe favor the Groves team here at home.
It might. They are at home, like you mentioned, and Coach Baldridge did mention that the stability, it comes from a lot of returning players. He has a lot of the same girls he had last year, only, losing 3-1 to graduation, and a really good freshman class has really led the way into an early 3-0 start for Groves.
As for Seaholm, they're right at 500, 4 wins, 4 losses, and getting the start on the mound will be Abby Ryder. She brings some stability to the circle there for the Maples as they look to get over that 500 mark here today against their rivals, the Falcons.
Yeah, she really brings some stability to the center of that infield and really minimizes the damage that the defense has to play behind her. She really throws a lot of strikes, and you're going to go up swinging because the ball's going to be right over that plate.
Starting lineups and first pitch coming up next right here on BACB Sports. Welcome back to Birmingham Groves High School. Brad Fetters alongside Nick Buckler as starting pitcher Jenna Ringler finishes her tune-up, and Jenna pretty steady on the mound so far for the Falcons.
Yeah, this will only be her first start of the season, but coming in relief. She's pitched an inning and 2/3, only giving up 1 hit, couple strikeouts. So really, this will be a big test for her to take on a start for the first time this year. But so far, what we've seen in relief, really been impressive. So we'll see what she can do. A big strikeouts per 7 at the high school level is pretty high right now, but 2 in an inning and 2/3, so we'll see what she's got.
Haley Randolph will be her catcher here today, and leading things off for the Seaholm Maples will be Bring Long. Long will get the start at shortstop. Long takes a look at the first pitch. It misses low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Long brings in a 4.44 average on this through 8 games.
Strike on the outside part of the plate. Ringler bringing the heat that time. Evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
Bryn Long's got pretty good on-base percentage. She's right there. She's at .632. That's definitely important to have out of the number 1 slot. She can shoot the gaps there. She hits a ground ball towards short.
Shortstop comes up, fires across the diamond for the first out of the game. It's Sarah Sherman over at shortstop.
It'll go 6-3 to you scoring at home if you're following along with us here today.
Abby Ryder, the pitcher now, in that 2-hole for the Maples, will be followed by Ellie Smith. Kelly DeClark in the cleanup spot. Riley Vita will bat 5th. Kayla Shockey will play 3rd base and bat 6th. Tessa Boyd-Toast, the designated player, will follow her in the lineup. Strike Mia Landway, the right fielder, and then Brooke Anton. That's how Seaholm will bat.
Ryder's hitting 350 out of that 2 slot here. Brings some stability as she pops one up on the infield.
Be Sherman once again. So Sherman's made both putouts. That'll bring up Ellie Smith. Smith, the tall center fielder, looks down at her head coach Bill Sherman, gets the signal. Smith, a wide open stance.
Just quick, tied for the team lead with 3 steals, so it's important if Grove's is gonna try to keep her off the base pass here today.
First pitch missing low. Ringler comes home with the 1-0 pitch, missing inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Good hitters count here for Smith.
Yeah, you know you're going to get something good, and if you don't, it's probably in take mode after that. Always love these softball games. The players are very animated. That catches the inside black.
Lots of chatter coming out of that road dugout along the first baseline here at Groves.
Gotta love baseball season. Summer's around the corner, although we have a breeze through our broadcast booth, but it's a good one.
Tap right back at us. Yep, wind blowing in. Gonna be tough to hit one out. 190 all the way across the outfield, down the lines into dead center. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the top of the first inning. Deuce is wild. Pitch comes in. Oh, a nice change up there. Gets Ellie Smith swinging as the Maples go down in order. Falcons coming to bat next on BACB Sports.
Hi, I'm Lourdes Stefan, host of Univision's Sal y Pimienta. Cancer doesn't just change the way you feel, it changes the way you look. From losing your hair, even your eyebrows, to changes in your skin and nails, cancer treatment can rob you of your confidence and self-esteem. But Look Good, Feel Better changes all that. More than 800,000 women have learned how to address the appearing side effects of cancer treatment through our workshops. Visit lookgoodfeelbetter.org to find a free workshop near you. Let Look Good, Feel Better help you feel like you again.
Welcome back. Abby Ryder now has taken the circle for Seaholm, begins her tune-up tosses here as the Groves comes to bat for the first time on the afternoon. And well, Abby's kind of their workhorse for the Maples this season.
Yeah, by far leads the team in innings pitched coming in. She's this will be her 5th start already. This is just their 9th game, so definitely more than half. Pitched 22 1/3 innings. ERA is a little higher than she'd like, but a lot of strikeouts. She will keep the ball around the plate, and she's going to get you to swing and miss quite often. 31 strikeouts in 22 1/3 innings. But that ERA is quite high. The walk rate is about half of her strikeout rate. So she wants to lower her walks if she's going to be successful here today. 7.21 is that ERA I mentioned. But 2-2 through 4 starts, and she's appeared in 6 of the 8 games. So 5th start, hopefully it'll be big time in a rivalry game.
The center fielder, Claire Higley, will lead things off for Groves. She'll be followed in the lineup by Sophie Conkle. Haley Randolph will bat 3rd. Bella Kaza will bat cleanup. Hannah Sharon, the second baseman, will bat 5th. Sarah Sherman, the shortstop. And then Ringler, Bitker, and Lenberg, the bottom 3 in the Groves order here this afternoon. Game 1 of this doubleheader, bottom of the first inning. Seaholm went down in order 1, 2, 3. Groves looking for the offensive attack here.
Higley, average-wise, unbelievable. Comes in 778. They've only played 3 games, but still, anytime you're raking at that level, you're going to want to keep her off the base paths because she's a force to be reckoned with, and that's for sure.
Higley, one of those seniors in the lineup. Really had to wait her turn. She's at the varsity level for a handful of seasons now. Really been a steady force at the top of the order for the Falcons. Wears number 1 in green. First pitch from Ryder missed up. So 1 ball, no strikes.
What impresses me a lot about this Groves offense thus far as we see a strike to Higley is their on-base percentage as a team, 495, just a shade under 500, which means if you're not too up to snuff on your lingo, softball or baseball, half the time they're getting on base. That's 50%. It's unbelievable as we see a ground out to the first base gal over there.
Yep.
The first out of the bottom half.
Higley rolls one over to DeClerc, made the short 2 steps over to the bag. So 1 up, 1 down, brings up Sophie Conkle, the left fielder. Conkle swings and lofts one up and into the Groves parking lot, and that one right off the back window of a Lexus.
I don't know, Brad, did you park pretty close to the facility today? I didn't think of that.
Called enough of these games to know not to park anywhere near this diamond. I'm over in the lot down the right field line.
You're smarter than I am.
Big long poke away.
But we should know by the fact it was a Lexus that indeed was not mine.
Good breaking ball there, just missed.
Just a hair inside there. Conkle brings a 375 record, an impressive 538 OBP.
Yeah, so basically every other girl in this Groves lineup is getting on base and clogging the base pass as DeClerc makes an easy grab there. So 2 up, 2 down.
I had a chance to play some high school baseball over on the east side of town, and we had a game. Our home field was right on Clinton River Road, and it was very close, and we've had a number of times cars driving past get smoked, and they pull over, and they're mad at us, but do they not see a baseball game going on when they take a gander to the right? I mean, it's an unfortunate circumstance, but still, come on now.
Well, I believe I heard some chatter at one point about maybe putting up some more protective netting, as that one's popped up straight this way. Makes its way right over top of us. Haley Randolph, the catcher, in the box now for Groves.
I was waiting to hear a boom from our broadcast roof.
Yeah, just got over us. We're directly behind home plate. Good vantage point right behind home plate umpire.
Randolph has Groves' only home run on the season. 1 homer, 4 RBIs through 3 games. She's hitting, another Grove Falcon with an impressive batting average, 556, 667 on base percentage as she pops one up. This one might drop between shortstop and center, but it won't.
Shortstop right there to make the play. Long snags it, and the Falcons go down in order, looking for our first base runner of the game. Top of the second coming up next.
The following is a public service announcement test to determine if you need a fishing license and boat registration before you head out on the water. Let us begin. Are you your own boat? Is this your idea of fishing with friends? Do you want this in your favorite lake? Ick. Regardless how you answered, you need to be licensed and registered. Do your part at takemefishing.org.
Bit of a dog day afternoon here. Beverly Hills, top of the second inning, Falcons, Maples. It'll be 4, 5, 6, the meat of the Maple order. DeClerc, Vita, and Ishaki. DeClerc, the first baseman. Right-hand heavy lineup for the Maples.
Kelly DeClerc, 333 on the season to start. So we're seeing a lot of elevated numbers on both teams on the offensive categories. So that's a good sign. But so far it's been the pitchers that have done the laughing. It's 3 up, 3 down, first inning for each squad.
Pitch missing low, evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike.
I like that dog day. That was nice. I was wondering how you were going to incorporate that.
Well, you know, we call enough dog shows here in Birmingham. We got a little bit of training in that. Nice running stab by the shortstop.
I don't know.
Long?
You're going to score that in air? Because I think they both kind of flinched up. She wasn't able to haul it in, but I think they heard footsteps and both pulled up at the last second. I'm going to score that as an E6.
Okay, we'll mark it down as a reach on air. Play that should have been made by Long. Bring up Riley Vita, the catcher. 00. Not too often you see that number in a lineup.
You ready for another good stat? Uh-oh. Oh. Big lead there for Kelly DeClark. She wants to draw a throw because in high school it's common. If you draw a throw, you're advancing, whether it's a good throw or not, because as soon as she goes to first with that, you take off for second. That's what you're taught, as we're seeing a square to bunt here and a good pitch.
Pulls the bat back and takes a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike now on the 5th place hitter.
You ready for another good offensive stat? 333 average, 529 OBP for Riley Vita.
Takes a big cut and comes up empty. Balls, 2 strikes. And kind of get that look at Haley Randolph looking into their home dugout to get the signals. Vita takes 1 too many. She goes down looking. 2nd strikeout of the game now for Jenna Ringler. Bring up Kayla Shockey, 3rd baseman. Which misses low. Throw down to first. Runner takes off for second and is caught between bases. We got ourselves a pickle now, and it's executed perfectly by Groves, and you just wonder there if Kelly should have just continued to run.
Yeah, she might have been safe there had she kept going, but she heard the throw, and, instinct says go back. But still a very close play. A good tag was applied, and needless to say, that's the 2nd out of the inning. So got the rundown executed to perfection. And when you're a runner, a percentage for you here across baseball and softball at the college and pro level, as you're a runner in a rundown, less than 8% success rate. So that's just something to think about.
Pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. So you're saying don't get into a pickle.
Yeah, because it's not going to dill your way out of that one. Not even sure that made sense, but it sounded good to me.
Ringler comes home, and big swing and a miss by Shockey. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the top of the 2nd inning. So glad you decided to tune us in. This is a big rivalry matchup. Ringler, 3rd strikeout of the game. They're going to have to complete the strikeout with a throw down to first, and a tag is applied. So our first base runner of the game gets cut down on the pickoff play. A couple strikeouts will do it. 1.5 in the books. Groves coming up the bat, 0-0.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/conservation.
Falcons looking to strike first here. Bottom of the 2nd inning, 4-5-6 for Groves. Kaza, Sharon Sherman. Your 3 Falcon batters here facing off against Abby Reuter in her 2nd inning of work. Groves looking for their first base runner of the ball game.
Meat of the order here. Kaza hasn't been off to the offensive start she would like, hitting a .182, but she's still the cleanup hitter, can run into one at any time, so big swing.
Our first left-handed batter of the game as well. Not really any sort of advantage except getting down the baseline a little bit quicker from that left-hand side, but as we mentioned, it's 190 all the way around the outfield.
Most places would have a short portion, right, but not here.
Kaza digs in.
when I first started pitching, lefties always threw me for a loop because, growing up, it's predominantly right-handed hitters. And when you get that first lefty, it's hard to groove a strike every time. And so I noticed I found myself pitching outside a lot. And then once I tried to right the ship, I started hitting a lot of left-handed batters. And then after that, my short career was over.
Kaza really far up in that left-hand batter's box. Has her front foot pretty much on the chalk line. It's kind of a good look here is get her to dig in.
Yeah, that is up.
Watch when she strides. She almost touches the chalk line.
And that's good, too, because we've seen a lot of both sides. Pitches have been sinking, so you want to catch it before that sink so you're not grounding the ball or missing it, and that's a good strategy to have here if you can catch that early on. Is we have a put out to the shortstop to start this inning for out number 1.
Long's been really busy at that shortstop position and has already recorded 2 putouts. Bring up Hannah Shuren.
300 hitter out of the 5-hole.
Second baseman in today's ball game for Groves. Keeps that bat on her shoulders right before the pitch is thrown. She brings it up into that good hitter's position. That one's fouled straight back, and oh!
From Chevy Impala.
Umpire needs a softball before we can resume play. Couple in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Both pitchers throwing strikes. That's what you like to see out of your starting pitcher. Game moving along quite quickly. Called strike on the inner half of the plate.
Perfect location, inside corner at the knees. Not much as a hitter you can do with that one other than turn it over and maybe get a piece of it and hit a weak grounder somewhere, but perfect pitch. She went right back to the well. That one just missed a hair inside, but very good location and a very good idea there by Ryder. She is all over the lower half of that zone. Tries to get her to chase there on 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was definitely a purpose pitch there with the 2-ball, 2-strike count. So full count now, Sharon.
The battery always got to be the battery, rather, not the batter. But as a oh, the dog almost took one off the chin. But it's a mental game. You got to get in the other team's head and learn their tendencies, and they're prone to chase with some high pitches. You got to throw those up at the eye level because as a hitter, that looks so good, and you'd think I can smoke this pitch into the outfield, but it's a lot harder to catch up with, especially when there's some cheese on it.
Payoff pitch misses up. So walk for Sharon, first base runner of the game for Groves. Will bring up Sarah Sherman, the shortstop. She looks down at Coach Baldridge, gets her signals.
444 average. I'm just going to keep blurting it out because they're all over 300, I feel like, in this Groves batting order.
Well, they got to make outs. They've got to make 21 of them, and you just wonder who in this lineup is making the outs because you keep giving me numbers that are in the 400s, 500s, and even the 700s with Claire Higley. And there's no wonder that this Groves team is off to that hot 3-0 start.
Yeah, in today's lineup, there's a $182, and then we have 273 is the next lowest average. So we're going to see where these outs are coming from.
Ball missing in the dirt. Sharon had to put on the brakes, and then I think she actually kind of got stuck as she moved off for first base. It'll be something to pay attention to. We did get a lot of rain. The field conditions are fairly good with all things considered. You do see in those batter's boxes, especially that right-hand batter's box, really kind of getting chewed up. Another foul ball. Vita, plenty of room, perhaps. Nope, as that one will bounce off the very top of her visitor's dugout. She gave it a look.
I want to go back to her defensively a little bit. Vita, she a couple pitches ago when she had to block that down in the dirt. It's so important with runners on base to be able to block that. And it wasn't even a block. It was a clean pick. Because if she doesn't get that, it goes to the backstop, and you're giving up at least one base. So just important with runners on how these catchers are going to drop down and block these pitches in the dirt.
Sherman's taking her place now. Pierce set to go. Abby Ryder comes home with the pitch, misses up and away.
2 strikes. She really likes to go up around the shoulder, see if she can get them to chase, but so far good discipline from these Groves batters.
And that has been Ryder's MO early on in this game, is to throw that 2-strike pitch up and away.
There's 2 in a row.
Really a good eye for Sherman at the plate.
Did the same thing with Sharon. She didn't chase, and that one, ooh,
Home
just
plate umpire.
missed the inside corner from our vantage point. So back-to-back walks now have runners on first and second with 1 out.
Home plate umpire flinched.
And now the opposing pitcher, Jenna Ringler, steps in. This will just be her, technically her first at-bat. She's walked every time she's been up. So that's a good tidbit, but her 4th plate appearance of the season.
She squares around to bunt. She lays it down. Nice bunt. Third baseman comes up. Got to watch that runner at third. So good sacrifice for Jenna Ringler.
Yep, very
There's
good.
2 runners now in scoring position with 2 outs. Kayla Shockey playing her third base position well. Came in, fielded at bunt. Went across the diamond for the out. So Shockey over at third will take a couple steps in from her third base position. Rest of the infield at normal depth for Elena Bitker, the first baseman, and Vita went up and got that one. Talk about a nice play from the catcher's position.
Yeah, definitely here. But now it'll take a hit with 2 outs to get these ducks on the pond back home. So it's that's one thing with sacrificing with 1 out. It really makes it a do-or-die situation for your next hitter. So I always like sacrificing with no outs, but anytime, you know, your pitcher's up to bat, it was a very well-executed bunt, nonetheless.
It appears that Ryder is being extremely careful here with Bitker. With the base open, you just might put her on and force Lemberg to beat you.
Yeah, Bitker leads the Groves Falcons with 5 RBIs, so she is the RBI leader, hitting 273. She takes a good one right there to make it 3-1.
Strike call, pitch right at the letters.
That one as a hitter, it's 3-0. You're probably getting the take sign, but that's one that you really would love to hit. To me, that looked like the same pitch that they just called ball 4. But that one, umpire up with the right arm. And now we got 3-2 with a couple ducks on and 2 out.
Legitimate payoff pitch that time. Floater into right field. That's a tough play for the right fielder. But a terrific running catch by Landway forces the Falcons to strand 2. First real scoring chance for either team results in no runs, as we'll get another look at this terrific play by the right fielder, Mia Landway.
We cannot approve the loan until your wife goes back to work. I'm sorry.
Housing discrimination isn't always obvious or straightforward, but it is against the law. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, protects your rights to equal opportunity in housing.
If you've experienced housing discrimination, HUD can help. They can pursue compensation for your injuries and protect your equal opportunity to housing free of discrimination.
Bottom third of the Maple lineup coming to bat here in the top of the 3rd inning. 0-0 our score. Jenna Ringler back into the circle for the Falcons. Tessa Boitos, the designated player, to bat first here in the 3rd inning for the Maples. Landway, who made that nice running catch in right field, will bat second, and Brooke Anton will be the 3rd place batter here in the 3rd inning.
Boitos brings in her 400 batting average here out of the 7 slot in this Maple batting order.
There's a good look at how far back she is in the batter's box, so kind of a clear contrast in styles. A lot of times when you're facing a fast pitcher, you take a couple steps back in the box. You can also get a good look at how that batter's box is quickly turning to mud as Boitos goes down swinging. 4th strikeout already for Jenna Ringler. She's done an excellent job of mixing up speed as well.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of 2-strike off-speed pitches, and as you saw with Boitos, she was way out in front and a kind of a look of, you know, upset with herself that she bit on that off-speed pitch as she looked to the skies after striking out for the first out of the top of inning number 3.
Ringler with 3 straight strikeouts now. Mia Landway in the box, quickly in an 0-2 hole.
Oh, that hit a
I hit 2 cars actually.
direct shot off the mirror.
That one might have to go into the fix-it shop. That side view mirror looks to be hanging a little bit.
Yeah, we could do a pay-per-view to just watch the foul balls in the parking lot.
Everybody kind of gasps when they hit. Landway shoots one into right field. A one hop the right fielder Lenberg. So the first hit of the game for the Maples will be Mia Landway.
So she makes the good running catch to end the second inning and comes up second in the third and hits a shot to right field for the first hit of the game.
Bring up Brooke Anton, a real close stance. Rips the bat back. Runner takes off for second throw, beats her, and they're going to call her out. So they cut down Landway stealing, second caught stealing of the game, and really fundamental baseball, softball being played by the Groves Falcons.
Yeah, that was a good low throw, picked up on a hop, and she was waiting for her as she slid in to no avail.
Hot shot to straightaway center, easy play for Higley, one step in, and so far Jenna Ringler has faced the minimum. We'll go to the bottom of the third inning here from Groves High School.
Cool party. What do you guys want to drink? Can I have a head-on collision with a concussion twist?
Make mine a fatal accident with no survivors.
And you?
A designated driver, please. You know, just a bottle of water.
Awesome.
You're a lifesaver.
Be 9-1-2 in the Groves order coming to bat here in the bottom of the third inning. Lenberg, Higley, and Cockle, and in between innings, Abby Ryder was doing some grooming there to the pitcher's circle, kind of fixing her landing spot. We mentioned throughout this ball game that we did get some rain earlier today. We thought the field was in relatively good condition, but with that stride foot landing in the same spot, obviously the circle is taking a little bit of a beating.
You're going to see that too, even with good conditions. But today, as we got a whole nother game to play after this, so it's going to be important to keep up on it as this first game progresses. So, you know, every pitcher has their own, you know, things that make them comfortable out there. They might like a hole to land in. They might like to step up, which I don't know any pitchers that do that, as we have a shot to left past the left fielder.
This is going to be extra bases for Lenberg. She digs in for second and coasts in with the double. First Falcon hit of the game's a big one. Lenberg leading things off here in the third inning. Laces a double into left field.
Very good contact as left fielder Anton might have just kind of gotten a wrong step. She kind of stepped to her left, and it was roped just past her to the left and got all the way to the wall, and once that, it was extra bases for Lenberg.
This is the part of the lineup you want up as a Falcon fan. Claire Higley grounded out the first baseman back in the first. She squares around bunts.
Rule here too, when you're going to lay down a bunt, if the pitch is over your shoulders, you generally want to pull back, but once you're committed, it's tough to pull that bat back, as she saw her kind of lunge for it, and that resulted in the pop-up. You never want to pop up a bunt.
Higley swings through that 0-1 pitch, quickly an 0-2 hole.
It's a good hitter's pitch right there. She would love to have that one back, and way to lay off on Same approach she's had all day. Ryder, 2 strikes going up above those letters, and really good discipline from Groves to not chase and play into her game plan.
Higley waits out the pitch, punches one just over the second baseman's head. Runner at second had to hold up to make sure that ball wasn't caught. So back-to-back base hits have the Falcons with runners on the corners.
Nobody out too, so this is an interesting spot. No outs, runners on the corners, and your 2-hitter up. What do you think about a little squeeze action going on here? At least laying one down towards third base, and that's what's going to happen here. She at least squares to bunt, but with first and third, they're going to concede the runner at second base, so it won't count as a stolen base. So it'll be a defensive indifference, so to speak.
So Higley does take second base, so now 2 runners in scoring position for Conkle. Foul ball straight back, evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Conkle, the left fielder in game 1 of this doubleheader.
Base hit should get both runners in. Higley runs very well, so she should be able to score on a hit from second base. But Conkle here would love to just put bat on the ball. A fly ball would work as well for a sacrifice. Just batted ball. Balls in play is really what you want to do here as you're a hitter. Drive it to the right side.
Comes up empty there, goes down swinging. First strikeout of the game for Abby Ryder. I'll bring up Emily Randolph, the catcher.
Their number 3 hitter. This is definitely who you want up here with ducks on.
She popped out to the shortstop, her first at bat. Randolph shot down the third baseline, just foul.
Got around on that one.
That would have definitely scored 2. Ryder, after a 1-2-3 first inning, has found herself in trouble here in the second and third innings. Was able to pitch out of the jam in the second. Has recorded 1 out thus far here in the third, and desperate need to get Randolph out. Randolph, such a dangerous hitter in the box for the Falcons.
This would be a very impressive, real good off-speed pitch there, dropped in when we thought it might not. So this is a big spot in the game for Ryder if she's able to get through the teeth of this batting order with runners in scoring position. There's a pop-up, could be playable.
A tough play. Shortstop Long gave it a look.
Now we'll see if she goes back to the well of the letter high fastball here, high and away. Maybe get one of the more aggressive hitters in this lineup to chase. This is the 3-4 spots, always are kind of lick their chops at pitches like that. Just got a piece.
Staying alive. Ryder holding the ball on her hips, shakes off her catcher, gets up onto the rubber, comes home with the pitch. Slow, deliberate pitch missing outside.
It's that same pitch that dropped in for strike 2. She started it a little bit off the plate, and that pitch danced back into that area where at least there was a frame job by the catcher.
Pitch missing low. Putting Randolph on base here might not be the worst thing in the world.
No, definitely not, as because then you bring up Kaza, who shot again. She's getting around on that inside pitch.
But just a little early there for Randolph.
Kaza has one of the lower averages on this Groves team, but still the cleanup hitter. So I don't know, do you want to load up the bases for your cleanup hitter? That's always something that managers just always have to.
That's why they lose sleep at night.
Exactly. There's so many moving parts in a baseball and softball game, and a very good piece of pitching gets the strikeout of Randolph. Second out of the inning. Very nice piece of pitching.
So back-to-back strikeouts for Ryder, and it will bring up Kaza, left-handed cleanup hitter. Popped out to the shortstop back in the second inning. First pitch swinging, rolls one over to the second baseman, who completes the third out. So Groves threatens, gets 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out, but cannot cash in. They strand 2 runners. We head to the 4th inning. The teams are tied up at 0 apiece.
This could be a bicycle. Or a bat. This could be a robot. Or an airplane. This could be a playground. This could be a book bag.
Or a soccer ball.
This could be a book. This could be beautiful. This cannot be trash. This can all be recycled. Learn more at thiscouldbe.org.
Nice job of the Maples starter. Abby Reuter pitched herself out of trouble there. Came up with 2 big strikeouts before getting Bella Kaza to ground out to the second baseman. Crisis averted for the Maples there as Seaholm put 2 runners on via 2 straight base hits, but cannot cash in, and score remains 0-0. Top of the lineup now for the Maples, the leadoff hitter. Long 0 for 1 in the ball game, grounded out to shortstop back in the very top half of the first inning. Jenna Ringler back in the circle for the Falcons, delivers home, called strike.
And anytime you get 2 on with no outs, it's impressive to pitch out of that jam no matter what. But when you have to go through the teeth of a lineup, 2, 3, 4 with second and third, nobody out, you get the second and the third hitter, a shot down the right field line. That's fair.
And that one will go all the way up against the wall as Long is going to dig in for 3, looking for the triple, and she's going to get it. Standing up, a lead-off 3-bagger for Long, and just like that, the Maples look like they have an opportunity to score the first run of this ball game.
Yeah, well, here you go. Runner on third, no outs, so here we go. Same situation. Second, third, fourth hitters coming up. And now this will be a huge spot for Abby Ryder. She just pitched out of the huge jam, and now she can drive one in herself here with a runner on third. That's right.
So it's going to be up to Ringler to pitch out of this one. First runner in scoring position for the Maples. Only her third base runner of the game, but a couple caught stealings have cut them down. So first big scoring opportunity for the Maples. Pitch missing low, 1 ball, 1 strike on Abby Ryder.
As a pitcher, that's where you want to stay. Below the knees, it's can try to force a ground ball. It's interesting to see now if Long's going to be gone on contact here. Looks like they're playing in on the corners.
Middle of the infield in just a hair as well.
Very good block there by Randolph, because if that sneaks a little bit further down that third baseline, Long might be taken off for home and trying to score on that pass ball.
Both catchers so far have really impressed us. Ryder check swing. Did she go? Peeled down.
They appealed the first, but the umpire is now standing at third, so I don't know what he called there. I don't think he called a strike.
Didn't say she went around, so 3 balls, 1 strike now on Ryder.
points to first base. The first base coach looked back and was like,
There's
no umpire there.
So full count now.
Obviously, he's going to say she didn't go around.
Exactly.
It's her coach.
Payoff pitch to Ryder. Pops one up.
Runner will
The
tag.
right fielder. Lemberg camps under it, makes a catch. Good strong throw home. And Long comes in under the slide. So an RBI sac fly for Abby Ryder. Plates the first runner of the game, and just like that, the Maples now lead it 1-0.
Very good job to just get that ball. You want to hit it to the right side there. If you're going to try the sacrifice, a good throw. A little lower, we would have had a little play at the plate. Still an interesting play, but nonetheless, a good job to help her cause and get the RBI.
So Ryder did exactly what she needed to do. Lofted something to the outfield. Throw was a little bit up the line. Really nothing that Randolph could do from her catcher's position. That one's tapped up the middle. Sarah Sherman, the easy play from her shortstop position. So 2 outs. That'll leave things up to Kelly DeClark. DeClark reached on an error back in the 2nd inning.
She was also the victim of the rundown on the very next batter. So she got herself in a pickle, as you said.
Groves still early in this ball game, but they might be looking back to that 3rd inning with those 2 runners in scoring position when they were unable to cash in, and then watch Seaholm the very next half inning come through in the clutch.
It's a very good piece of hitting back-to-back to get the triple and then cash her in with a sacrifice.
Strike on the outside part of the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike now. 2 outs. Top of the 4th inning. Scheduled to play 7, the game of high school softball. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Clark went down. Tried to golf it out. Comes up empty.
That's that sinking fastball. Very effective in the lower half of the strike zone. But when you start to throw it up in there and it kind of sinks, it'll sink right into the happy zone of most hitters as a play is made by a fan from Albuquerque. Did one of the play-by-play guys say that for the Tigers?
Yeah, Ernie Harwell was notorious for coming up with cities. Always wondered as a kid how he knew where everybody was sitting. Clark looks at that one, moves her feet back. Be a full count now, and first baseman. Seaholm leads it 1-0. 8 of a triple and a sac fly. DeClark goes down and gets that one, lofts one into left field. Left fielder Conkle looking for the shoestring catch, comes up empty. So base hit for Kelly DeClark.
It's a good piece of hitting. She went down and got it and pulled the sand wedge out and chipped it just where their defenders were not. And Conkle would have liked to make that play, but nonetheless, not one that she necessarily should have had. So that'll go as a hit, of course. Good piece of hitting, too, with 2 strikes.
It's Riley Vita now the catcher. Left-hand batter's box choking up on that Easton bat. And she's looking to slap here.
Went down looking in her last at bat.
She'll slap one to the third baseman, who makes the easy play across the diamond. So Seaholm, couple hits, they score 1. And after 3.5 innings of play, lead it 1-0.
How do you know? No cages, no crates, no tie stalls, no painful living conditions. How do you know? No hormones or antibiotics in feed. How can you know? Your choice is wholesome and humane. Did you know choosing natural foods raised in humane conditions promotes farm animal well-being as well as yours and your family. Choose Certified Humane. Certified Humane certification and labeling program assures customers that when they purchase products with the Certified Humane logo, those animals were raised healthy and humanely. When you choose Certified Humane, everyone benefits. For more information about Certified Humane and its benefits to animals, farmers, and consumers, visit their website at www.certifiedhumane.org. That's www.certifiedhumane.org.
Not quite grilling weather, but the booster parents here at Birmingham Groves are putting in the effort. Temperatures continue to drop. The sun has gone behind one of these numerous gray clouds, but we're playing softball. It's the Seaholm Maples that have come into Groves and have taken a 1-0 lead, bottom of the 4th inning. And for Groves, it'll be Sharon, Sherman, and Ringler. And the story thus far, perhaps for the Falcons, has been the 4 runners that have been left on base. They've threatened the last 2 innings, but have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, so this might be something like you mentioned, to look back on the squandered opportunities followed by the cashed-in opportunities for Seaholm, and that's why they find themselves up 1-0. But, you know, I've watched a lot of Tigers baseball over my days, and they've had a lot of fun in the booth by, you know, getting food offered to them by the friendly folks at Comerica Park, as we see a blooper that's going to drop inside the left field line.
This looks like extra bases, sliding in ahead of the tag for a double. Hannah Sharon comes up with a leadoff double.
Very
Just
close
like
play.
that, Groves right back into business.
Yeah, really good piece of hitting and a really good job defensively by the left fielder to get that ball there with no hesitation, really make a bang-bang play there at second base, but she's safe. But they get a lot of food offered to them up in that booth, and as we saw the boosters, I mean, if they're watching at home or at the grill, they know that a hot dog would taste
a cheeseburger, send a cheeseburger over for
Hey,
you?
I'll be a critic. I'll tell them how great their grilling is, you know. And
beggars can't be choosers.
I'll pull my best Jim Price.
Nice area?
Yeah, nice area. The grill will be a nice area. It'll put off some heat and some nutrition as well.
Yeah, that might be one of the smartest places to be on an afternoon like this, is behind that grill.
Look, those guys,
yeah,
they look bored. They look bored, so they might need to send some over.
That group's getting a little bit larger behind that grill, by the way.
It makes you wonder if there's a cooler nearby.
Sherman goes down swinging.
So
once again, this is an opportunity for the Falcons with runners in scoring position, and you can't squander opportunities like this. So Ringler, the pitcher, in that batter's box, floats one foul, and that Ford's going to take it, perhaps? No.
On a couple hops, so there's a dad sprinting to that ball, and must be his Ford. Oh.
Just got word that our director, Greg Black's car is safe. Hot shot down the third baseline. This one's going to score Sharon. Perhaps she's going to make a play for home and score standing up. So an RBI single for Jenna Ringler. Knots up the score at 1 apiece.
Yeah, the hot corner, they call it that for a reason. And that one looked like there's some English on that ball. Some spin for those of you at home.
So Sharon, good piece of base running. She was thinking double out of the box, leading things off. Gets down to second, and then never hesitated on that single from Ringler. That one gets stuck at the very top of the backstop. So Ringler helping out her cause, as did Abby Ryder. So both RBIs belong to the pitcher. You don't see that too often.
No. You're giving her a hit, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to give her a single.
All right, I'll correct my score sheet. I had E5 written down. I guess I'm just harsh. You know, I could change that with a hot dog.
Well, there's no official score nearby, so
if her dad isn't near and he wants to give her the hit, I take bribes.
Big pop up to left field. Anton camps under it, makes a catch. So Ringler has to retreat back to first. So a fly out for Bitker will bring up Lenberg. Lenberg doubled in her first at-bat. It was a leadoff double back in the third. She was stranded, one of 4 base runners so far for the Falcons that have been left on base.
Yeah, it was a hot shot for the gap in right center.
Slightly open stance. Pops one straight up. This is going to be a tough play as it falls between the catcher and the pitcher. So we'll call it a base hit.
Infield single there. That's a tough play with all that spin. Communication between pitcher catcher. Nobody really called it, so.
Well, it's an extremely tough play for the catcher because she's coming up out of her crouch. It would have been an easier play for the pitcher coming in on that ball, but oftentimes in the sport of baseball, you'll see a pitcher get the heck out of the way, but really that was realistically the only play they had was for Ryder to come in and catch that, and kind of fell in no man's land.
I really never understood. I always, when I pitched, I loved bouncing off the mound and getting animated with it and diving for balls. I'd call my shortstop off, even though they say the shortstop is the captain out there on the infield. They'd always try to call me off on bloopers to the infield, and I'd say, no, get back.
You weren't having any
No,
of that?
and then they'd yell at me, and the coach would yell at me too. And
well, maybe that's just why your career as a pitcher was so short-lived.
it was long enough. It was a lot of fun. I'm sure my parents loved spending numerous hours at the field and spending money on hotels, snack. That was mainly my focus, what the snack would be, as it is here today again, as the grill is start to smell it a little bit as we get close to in between games. Peanuts, Cracker Jacks. I don't care if we ever get back.
Higley doing a really nice job of staying alive. Higley 1 for 2 this afternoon. A couple runners on base. 3 hits in the inning for the Falcons. 1 run in. Higley waits out that pitch. Very patient. Looked it all the way in.
Tough to lay off, especially that the tailing action Ryder has had back in 2 right-handed hitters. Like
pitch
just like
behind her.
Back in my day, you pitch behind a batter, you're gonna have to answer to the whole team.
Purpose pitch, huh?
Yeah, right. Now watch that Taylor away or high.
Up and in. So that'll load the bases.
So Higley reaches for the 2nd time today.
I'll bring up Sophie Cackle, left fielder. 0 for 2. Two outs. Pitch missing inside, so all of a sudden, Ryder lost a little bit of her control, perhaps.
Conco would love to redeem herself. She made the first out after the back-to-back hits. In the 3rd, she struck out, and now got herself in a 2-0 count. The umpire getting animated with it here as he kicks the dirt off the plate. He doesn't like what he hears from some of the fans in attendance. They thought that might have caught the inside corner, but to no avail.
Tough situation now for Ryder.
Nowhere to put her.
Count.
Yeah.
To Conkle.
And again, meat of the order, Randolph on deck. You don't want her coming up with bases loaded.
Conkle looks that one all the way in, and bases loaded walk will plate the 2nd Falcon of the inning, and more importantly, will give them the 2-1 lead.
Little mound visit here.
And Coach Sherman going to make his way out to the circle.
Yeah, well, you know, what do you say in this situation? You just got to tell her to take a couple breaths. You got a good field behind you. Let her put the bat on the ball and trust your defense.
Pitch to contact. And it will be Randolph, who put a couple really good swings on a couple pitches in her last at-bat, but had nothing to show for it as she pulled both pitches down the 3rd base line. Foul. Was a strikeout victim. She's 0 for 2. An opportunity here to really blow this game wide open.
Yeah, that was a good, hard-fought at-bat. She saw upwards of 8 pitches before loading the count, but chasing one right just above the waist on the inside corner. Couldn't catch up to it, so maybe take one here. No, she's swinging.
First pitch swinging, and she hammers that one foul. So if she can straighten that out, she's going to be really good shape.
Yeah, she's getting around on this. Fast first pitch fastball.
8th batter come to the plate here for the Falcons in this 4th inning. Missing up and out. 1 ball, 1 strike to the 3rd place batter. Lundberg at 3rd, Higley at 2nd, Conkle at 1st. Your 3 base runners for the Falcons. Randolph, big swing and a foul straight back. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's whenever you cue one off the end of your bat like that, that's generally means you're bringing your head off the ball. Her head was probably out in left field a little bit. She got excited seeing that pitch sneak into the happy zone, but just cued it. Foul. There's a shot.
Lifts this one up the left field. Anton comes in a few steps, makes the catch. So Falcons score a couple, but leave 3 runners on base. And after 4 innings of play, the Falcons lead the Maples 2-1. 2-1.
Yep.
Go to helpbears.org to sign the petition to save polar bears. www.helpbears.org.
Welcome back to Birmingham Groves, home of the Falcons, Nick, and that's not quite a Falcon. That's we believe a hawk, right?
I mean, I did watch a lot of National Geographic as a kid, but for the sake of today, hey, let's call it's a falcon today.
It's a bird of prey, no matter what it is.
Yeah, it definitely, the circle of life is in full swing when that puppy's hungry.
And hopefully he doesn't swing by and take off one of our cameramen off the top of the dugout.
Yeah, I think that falcon is mad. Jason Radulski was able to capture him in his natural habitat, so he might be coming for him.
There's a look at Michael, one of our camera guys up top, and feel for them today. It's a little chilly all of a sudden.
Yeah, they're right in the jet stream.
Hot shot to shortstop, and Shockey will get on base. What do you say, via the air?
E6. If I'm the official score, that's what I'd call it. There was one that looked like she would have liked to probably charge, but weighted the ball and it played her. That's what I was taught.
Sherman took that one off the leg. She's shaking it off. She's a softball player. She's going to stay in. I'll bring up Tessa Boitos, designated player, taking over with the second baseman in the lineup. Boitos 0 for 1 with a strikeout. First time the Maples have trailed in this game. Find themselves down 2-1, top half of the 5th inning as the Falcons plated 2 in the bottom half of the 4th. Sent 8 batters to the plate, put 5 runners on base, but only could cash in 2 runs. It's a tough play here as the first baseman will give it a look. Bitker comes up empty. It was a tough play for her.
Yeah, those are always tough when you're running with your back to the ball and you got to try to judge that thing over your shoulder, not even over your shoulder, pretty much looking back over your head. So anytime you're able to make the plays, we got a pass ball, runner will advance.
Yep. Missing in the dirt and scooting past Randolph. So put another runner in scoring position for the Maples as they look to tie this game up. Opportunity for Boitos now, 7th batter. Coach Sherman's lineup. Nice shot in the 1.5 hole. Oh, and they'll hold the runner at third base. So nice single for Boitos, puts runners on the corners.
Interesting play there. Lemberg had it get to her so fast in right field. I think there might have been a play at first base. But she ends up throwing to the cutoff person at second base, which was just about 3 feet away from the first base bag. To me, worth a shot, but fundamentals say hit your cutoff.
So bring up Mia Landway, the right fielder, 1 for 1 with a single, and make it 2 for 2 with a couple singles. The runner at third held up momentarily, and they're going to cut her down at the plate. Wow, bang, bang play at the dish. A terrific throw by the left fielder. Cackle cuts down the runner. A little bit of hesitation by Shockey down at third base. Waiting perhaps to see if that ball would be caught. It dropped in front of the left fielder. Cackle came up firing and cuts the runner down at home plate. Same look here as this one will drop. Now we got to play at third base and another force out.
Well, that'll go down as a fielder's choice, I guess.
Well, you don't often see a fielder's choice to the left fielder, but that's how it will be scored in both of our scorebooks.
I mean, it's a shame because it was a base hit. But in that situation with nowhere to put the runner, that's a fielder's choice. So we'll see how maybe the official score is a little more generous than we are.
7-5,
yeah. Right, 7-5.
Your old 7-5 put out.
Yeah, it's fundamental baseball if you're asking me.
So we basically have seen 3 plays where we could have had put-outs on base hits.
Yeah, and that one, we've seen that called a ball here all day long. And good frame job by the catcher results in that being strike 1.
So it's long now, the top of the order for Seaholm. As the offense has picked up here in these middle innings for both teams.
Ooh, way to lay off.
Snap throw down to first. Terrific throw by Randolph.
Perfect throw right on the bag. But that's why you slide for the back corner of the base if you are the base runner.
Make the target as small as possible for the bag.
Exactly. That was a perfect throw. Good snap.
3 balls, 1 strike, and Long kind of waited and
yeah, that
had
was
to make sure she could take her steps down to first base. So it'll load things up. Coach Baldridge going to come out and have a conversation with his entire infield. Base is chock full of Maples, and he'll bring up Abby Ryder. Helped herself out with an RBI sac fly back in the 4th. So 0 for 1. Popped out to the shortstop back in the 1st.
Another situation here where you have to trust your defense. Play is anywhere on the infield, so you can just go to the closest bag. You won't have to throw across the diamond. Just try to keep working the lower half of the strike zone. She's got that sinking fastball, and that's what she gets, a ground ball, and it fielded perfectly.
So another fielder's choice play made by Belacaza. And Seaholm threatens but does not score. They leave them loaded, and after 4.5 innings of play, the Falcons lead it 2-1.
It nourishes, brings us together, and adds flavor to life. That's why it's important to wash hands, surfaces, and fresh produce. Keep raw meat, poultry, and seafood separate from ready-to-eat foods like fruits and vegetables. And cook to proper temperatures using a food thermometer. Enjoy! And refrigerate leftovers within 2 hours. For more tips on safely preparing foods, visit homefoodsafety.org.
Brad Fetters alongside Nick Buckler welcoming you back to Groves High School. Good look at the playing surface, which has kind of withheld the elements here today. It's been a little bit of a slow track perhaps, but nobody seems the worse for wear, and it's going to be Bella Casa to lead things off for the Falcons after making that terrific play down at third base a half inning ago to stop that Seaholm threat. She'll lead things off. Always seems that way, right? You make a nice defensive play and you're always the leadoff hitter the very next inning, and Kaza looking for her first hit of the game. 0 for 2, popped out to the shortstop back in the second and grounded out in the third.
There's that pitch almost like a knuckleball. You see it float in there. And when you lead off with that pitch, you just kind of throw the whole sequence off, and now you're in the hitter's head. Because now she doesn't know if she should be looking on fastball, which she gets, and she puts a bat on it.
Oh, shopping at the gap. Left center field gap. Kaza hits about halfway up the wall and will cruise into second base. The leadoff double.
Very good piece of hitting there as she did. She waited on fastball and got it and drives it to left center and another 2 feet, and she's trotting the bags. But nonetheless, a really good piece of hitting to just slap that puppy. Took what she had, and that's where it went.
Laying down the bunt, Sharon. Gonna be a tough play. They're not gonna get her. So base hit. First 2 runners on base for the Falcons. Looking to add on some additional insurance runs. They lead it 2-1.
Sharon, that's her 3rd time on base. Walk, double, now a bunt single. So runners on the corners here. We'll see how they attack, if they're gonna give her second base here or what they're gonna do, because generally the runner's gonna go every time.
She will take off. The throw gets to the shortstop. It's a design play there by the Seaholm defense, conceding that runner going to second, and you try to cut down perhaps on that runner at third if she were to break for home, which did not occur. Kaza didn't drift off the bag at third base.
You know, normally every team has about 4 to 5 design plays with runners on the corners to see what happens. In that play, third baseman really should have been at home, which is at not home plate, but been home into her position of third, and they might have had a play because she did have a little bit of a lead off third, because if the throw goes through all the way to second base, as a runner, you're taught judge it and try to break for home.
So you're saying the third baseman should have went over to the bag and been willing and able to take a throw down to third base.
Correct. I think that would have been at least would have had him thinking, because you might have had the shortstop toss it over and have a play. That's one of my favorite plays, is when you throw. One we always did was the pitcher would duck down and the catcher would try to throw it down to second base if the runner broke, and the pitcher would then pop up out of the squat and pick off that throw. Very risky play. You could have the pitcher get injured a lot of the times if they're not willing, or a bad throw from the catcher could peg the pitcher, or it could go into the outfield, or there's a lot of moving parts to that one, but when it works, oh, it's a beauty.
So Sherman goes down swinging for the second time on the afternoon. We'll bring up Jenna Ringler.
She reached on what you deemed a base hit past the third baseman. I said E5, and that's going to bleed foul, but
slices foul.
It was an RBI nonetheless.
Yeah, she also came around to score back in the 4th inning.
Well, she has a sacrifice bunt and a RBI single
So 1 for 1. With a single, run scored, RBI. Early running perhaps for our player of the game. Also doing terrific work in the circle. She squares around and bunts one straight back. So just like that, quickly in an 0-2 hole. This will be a big out. If Ryder is able to come up with it. Ryder slightly open, bat cocked behind her head, and she'll slice another one to shallow right field, and nobody wanted that softball. That is definitely the right fielder's ball coming in on it. Much tougher for the first baseman to track that one down, so another RBI single for Jenna Ringler.
Yeah, that one just dropped it in the right spot. When you get the second baseman running backwards, the first baseman running backwards, and the right fielder coming in, that's the right fielder's ball to call off. But definitely a long run for her, so she wasn't able to make it there. But nonetheless, if it drops, you know you're making it safely because all 3 defenders are out there. No one's covering first base.
So we'll bring up Bitker. 3 hits already in this inning for the Falcons. 2 Groves runners on the corner, and tap right back to the pitcher. Will look the runner back to third, and they're going to cut her down. A little bit of a base running mistake, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You either got to commit or not. She generally speaking, if you're going to take that big of a secondary lead, you're gone on contact. That one, unfortunately, heads-up play for Ryder to chase her back and just put a good throw to the third baseman and apply the great tag to get the second out of the inning.
So bring up Lundberg, 2 for 2, a double and a single. Terrific contact hitter in the 9 spot for the Falcons.
A lot of teams will put another similar to a leadoff hitter in the 9 spot, so you have 2 of the same hitter, yeah.
Talked about head coach Brian Baldridge here at Groves, really bringing stability to this program, who saw a bunch of head coaching changes, including a mid-season change a couple years ago. Baldridge really bringing a competitive atmosphere as well to this team. He's an assistant football coach, so really brings that edge to him. And anytime we're out at one of these practices here at Groves, they're spirited. The girls are having fun, but they're also very focused. Playing loose today with a 3-1 lead. Pitch missing inside. We had a lot of scoring opportunities. 8 hits in this ball game.
Worked herself into a 2-2 count here. 2 outs. Good opportunity here for Lemberg to pick up her 3rd hit of this game and maybe cash in an RBI as well.
Ringler, your runner at second. Bicker down at first. That'll fill things up here.
Yeah, good at bat here, working things full. After being in an 0-2 hole, getting around on a fastball, pulling it foul, and good vision to load her up.
Lemberg looks at one too many. She gets rung up by the home plate umpire. Damage done. Falcons add another run. And after 5 innings of play, they lead it 3-1.
We served our country like those before us.
The camaraderie is what kept me going. You know, it was a dangerous area. All of Vietnam was dangerous.
I didn't know what to expect when I got back.
For the first 10 years after I got out, no one would have known that I was in the service.
I got home, got married 2 weeks later, got a job.
We came back, built lives, families, and communities, but we still had challenges.
The carnage of war left an indelible mark on me.
I would have intrusive thoughts. Yeah, horrible nightmares.
Services and support that can help are available for veterans.
I went to the VA, talked to my doctor.
I started doing groups. I started doing one-on-one counseling.
We found ways to move past these challenges for ourselves and for our families. At MakeTheConnection.net, you can hear our stories and find tools and services available to you.
The more I talk to people, family, friends, other vets, the better I feel.
Head to the top of the 6th inning. Seaholm coming to bat, 3, 4, 5. The heart of the order for the Maples here as they trail 3-1. And Nick, really the story of the game is some blown opportunities for the Falcons in this ball game. They've left 9 runners on base.
Yeah, they've left them loaded, I think, a pair of times and left a few ducks on the pond 3 other times. So just really missed opportunities, to say the least, and a lot of them have come with less than 2 outs. Those base runners have found themselves on the pillows but not be able to come around to score. So I guess it's a tale of what could be. They still find themselves up 3-1, but it could be, in their minds, a lot worse.
So Ellie Smith leads things off here in the 6th inning with a base hit. Bring up the cleanup hitter, Kelly DeClark. 1 for 2 with a single. Jenna Ringler back in the circle, no surprise. A game of softball. The starting pitchers typically go the entire length of the game. DeClark squares around, pulls the bat back.
And just like I was saying earlier, if it's above your letters, important to try to get it back. I was taught in high school that if you saw a batter square on you and you were already in your motion, you were told to try to throw some chin music, because you're not trying to hit them, but that's the most difficult pitch to lay it down. And if they're getting it at all, it's going to be popped up, and that's what you want as a pitcher and a defense.
Nice backhanded play by Sarah Sherman. Terrific defensive effort there.
I don't know.
The shortstop.
From our vantage point here, it looked like her foot might have been off the bag.
Over at first?
Yeah. But no argument from first base coach.
I think Baker might have pulled her foot, huh?
Yeah, it was a great throw nonetheless.
Vita smashes one into center field, and base runner will scamper down to third, and Vita will cruise into second. It's another base hit. Couple singles here in the 6th has Seaholm cooking. Shockey 0 for 2. Third baseman, couple runners in scoring position now for the Maples, who trail in this ball game 3-1, looking for the equalizer.
Oh,
big cut. The pitch low and inside, comes up empty.
There's an opportunity they're going to want to cash in on, a chance to get back. They're not out of this game, but a chance to make it closer and possibly tie it up with a base hit here. It would be a big hit for Shockey.
7 Maples. And nice play. Running back, and Sherman has made 2 terrific plays from her shortstop position in this inning alone.
Yeah, very good play and an acrobatic leap, and snow cones it into the webbing of her glove, and saved at least 1 run with that defensive play.
So bring up Boitos with 2 down now in the 6th inning, and she pops one up, running out of real estate. That one harmlessly bounces through the parking lot.
Now we're starting to get close to my car here.
Just getting ready to say 7 Maples have reached base via hit. An 8th hit would be huge for the Maples. Rolled over and foul. Mentioned Ringler and Ryder both going the distance. Was recently watching a Big Ten softball game on the Big Ten Network, and one of the pitchers had thrown over 130 pitches in the ball game, and that's not uncommon in the game of softball. As you know, the underhand motion of a softball pitcher is much more natural than even the overhand motion of a baseball pitcher. So 130 pitches really isn't out of the norm.
No, it's not, as we're going to see a base hit drop to right.
Coach Sherman, very aggressive, sends Vita home, and she will score ahead of the throw. A 2 RBI single for Tessa Boitos has tied the score at 3 apiece.
Good piece of hitting, takes the outside pitch and just takes what she can and drives it past the first baseman into right field, and very aggressive third base waving around Vita, and she was able to score. And pretty nicely. Oh, there goes a GMC getting a foul ball off the back window there. So that one was parked near mine. I'm starting to get a little uncomfortable as they're finding it closer to home now, but tie ball game nonetheless.
So to bring up Landway 2 for 2. Couple singles. Been a well-played game. Teams trading runs.
Pretty clean game here. Not a heck of a lot, maybe 2 errors in the whole game.
Landway rolls one down to third base. Easy play for Belacaza. The damage has been done. Seaholm Maples push 2 runs across. 2 RBI single off the bat of Tessa Boitos as we get a look back at some of the pivotal plays in the top of the 6th inning. As we cruise along now to the bottom of the 6th inning, Groves all of a sudden knotted up at 3 apiece.
We're the stronger than we look type. The braver than you think type. The type that knows the time will come when we put type 1 behind us. We're the progress is inevitable type. The hopeful for a cure type. The type that will stop at nothing until type 1 becomes type none.
Look at our home field for the day, Birmingham Groves High School. So glad you decided to tune us in. Brad Fetters alongside Nick Buckler here for BACB Sports. It'll be the top of the order for the Falcons. Claire Higley to lead things off. Bottom of the 6th inning. 3-3 our score. Been one heck of a ball game to this point.
Really has. Higley 1 for 2, grounded out. Reached on a single as well as walking once, but has yet to come across the plate. So she'd like to find herself scoring here this bottom of the 6th inning.
Higley lifts one foul and out of play down the first baseline. Now the Maples got out to an early 1-0 lead back in the 4th inning. Groves came back and scored 2 in the bottom of the 4th to regain a 2-1 lead. They added on in the 5th, led it 3-1, and then saw their lead evaporate. And Seaholm scored 2 in the 6th.
Oh man, that was a beautiful curveball dropped in there, but home plate umpire says must have hung up a little bit too much.
Higley punches one down the first baseline. Tough play over there for DeClark, and she wins the race to first base. What a play over there by DeClark, as the first base umpire said Higley was out. It was tough. It was a bang play down there, and
he's taking an earful.
Higley really upset at the call.
I looked from back
here.
Yeah, we'll see it here before I
race to the bag.
Well, even so, you could just tag her.
Yeah,
She's
Higley
she went into fair territory.
First there.
So that's an out. That's a good call by the umpire. As we see it again, she fell right on the bag first. It looked like Higley kind of slowed down because she didn't want to have a collision.
She wanted to avoid the collision at first base.
So I think if she puts her head down and runs her down, she might be safe.
Good wherewithal by DeClark as well to go after the bag rather than trying to race through it.
Yeah, because that would have been a for sure contact play.
So she extended out with the ball in her glove and tagged the base. So good heads-up play by DeClark. That one does not go unnoticed by us. Hot shot right up the box. Conkle, second time she has reached base here, and nice hard single up the middle. It'll bring up Randolph. Hot hitting catcher. She has had some long, loud foul balls, but nothing to show for it. 0 for 3 in the ball game.
Yeah, here's no better time than now for her. She squares and puts down a beautiful bunt.
And will reach base safely. So we'll have runners at the corners. We'll call that a bunt single. I'm going to give Randolph credit for that one. I don't think they would even have got her at first base.
All right, I'll agree with you.
Am I being too generous?
You've just been just enough of generous.
Like Santa Claus handing out gifts on Christmas, I'm handing out base hits.
If people are handing out hot dogs, I'll call everything a hit.
So it's going to be Bella Caza. She had a double back in the 5th inning, an absolute bomb off the left center wall. And with the runners on the corner, she can give her Falcons the advantage right back here. She squares around to bunt, pulls it back. Runner Randolph will take off and head into second base. Defensive indifference will put 2 runners in scoring position down at 2nd and 3rd now for Bella Caza.
Huge opportunity for Groves here.
And they're going to intentionally walk her.
Yep, smart play. You gotta keep the double play intact and make a force out at any bag. I like the coaching call there. With the open bag, you might as well do it.
Yeah, but you're putting another dangerous batter in the box.
Yeah, Sharon is 2 for 2, double, single, and a walk.
So she's reached base all 3 times. So needless to say, the biggest moment of this game right here with the bases loaded. Abby Ryder has had a lot of stressful pitches in this ball game as she has been in and out of trouble seemingly all afternoon long as Falcons continue to put base runners on. Corner infielders, as we're going to get time on the field. Corner infielders 2 or 3 steps in front of their bags. Middle infielders in as well. Outfield at standard depth. Sharon pops one up. They're going to run out of room.
Look at the gap, though, in right center. If she's able to shoot that gap, she could be running forever. These bags could be cleared if she gets it with just enough roll to shoot the gap and head all the way to the wall. It could be a real nice thing here for Groves.
Yeah, outfielders are positioned for Sharon to pull. Left fielder Anton down that 3rd base line. Center fielder Smith positioned just to the left of dead center. Deep fly ball to left field. Anton camps under it, makes the catch. The throw comes into the center of the dugout. Runners advancing, and they're going to be all safe. Sac fly, RBI for Hannah Sharon. Has given the Falcons the 4-3 lead.
Really good piece of hitting. She just missed that from going out, too. Real good piece of hitting. Sac fly, though, nonetheless, and good RBI there to break this tie.
Good heads-up base running as well. The runners at 1st and 2nd to advance as well. Sarah Sherman first pitch swinging. She lofts one foul off of that dodge. It's taken a couple direct shots.
And then it's shot off the Chevy. We're getting eerily close to my car.
You might want to consider moving it.
You just looked right at it as the ball was picked up right next to my Escalade, of course.
Sherman, a hot shot right up the middle. 1 run in. They're waving her around. 2nd run will score standing up. So a 2 RBI single for Sarah Sherman. And that 3-run lead now for the Falcons is their largest of the game.
Really good second hit of the inning that went right through the legs of the pitcher. And it's a good piece of hitting by Sherman and an important 2 runs for a little insurance here with 2 outs.
3 Falcons have been plated here in the bottom of the 6th inning. 3 singles, an intentional walk, and a sac fly have been the offense here. And it's Ringler just fouled on the first base line. Ringler 2 for 2, runs scored, couple RBI, couple singles as well for the pitcher.
Always love to help your cause at the offensive side of things as well.
Sherman, the runner, down at first base. It's been a high-powered offensive attack today for the Falcons. 11 hits. And rolling it over to the second baseman. Tough play at first will be the third out of the inning, but the damage done. 3 runs in for Groves as they reclaim the lead now, 6-3. Last at bats, last chance for the Maples to make this a ball game. They trail at 6-3. We head to the top of the 7th inning right here on BACB Sports.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
Last chance here for the Maples, trailing 6-3. It'll be 9-1-2. Anton Long and Ryder. A seesaw affair this afternoon. Teams trading runs. Offense really picking up in the later half of this ball game. Swing and a miss by the left fielder, Anton. 0 for 2. The Maples continue the chatter, trying to give themselves that boost. Look in on the outside. Ringler thought it was a strike. She kind of gave a smile, a chuckle. Now she's going to take her time getting back on the rubber. 1 ball, 1 strike the count to Anton. Kind of think Ringler might be in the running for player of the game as the third sacker, Kaza couldn't find it. Bounced off of her and she lost track of it.
You're going to score that hot shot?
You tell me.
You know what? It's my turn to be generous.
You're going to say single?
It was a hot shot.
It's going to be a tough play for Kaza no matter what. And Coach Baldridge, many times throughout this game, has made these trips out and has included his entire infield. That one was a short confab. So it brings up the very top of this Seaholm lineup. Along the shortstop now. Take her spot in the box. Big triple back in the 4th. Jump started this Maple offense. Looking for a big hit here in the 7th inning. Takes a look at a called strike. Pitcher's pitch there.
Real good sinking fastball we've talked about from Ringler all day long here.
Long looking that one all the way in. Pitch missing inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to the shortstop. Brooke Anton, your base runner, down at first. Ball missing in the dirt. Good stop. I've already mentioned the terrific play by both catchers in this one.
Yeah, we haven't really had to worry about many pass balls. No runs have scored on pass balls. Really none to report at this time.
Yeah, all things considered, the defense has been played pretty well in this one.
Yeah, and a thing, too, to talk about both catchers is not only do you have to block the ball and catch the ball that comes to you, and you got to handle the pitching staff as well. And that's always something that you're calling the game. You know, you're a lot of times you're getting word from your coach on having the pitcher throw what you want her to throw, but when she shakes you off, now it's you. All right, what should she throw here? Curveball, knuckle curve, the slurve, the dark one. You know, you got a whole slew of pitches.
alive. So 11 hits for the Falcons. 8 hits for the Maples. 6 runs, more importantly, for Groves. Maples looking to do some damage here in the 7th. Long floats one over the second baseman's head. It falls in shallow right center field. 2 runners on. Back-to-back base hits. And just like that, the Maples have something cooking.
Yeah, this will be huge for them. Obviously, it's their last chance here in game 1, down by 3. And now the tying run comes to the plate. And it's Ryder. She can help her cause here. Possibly drive in a couple.
We've talked about the importance of the pitchers at the plate. They've helped out their cause seemingly all afternoon long, as this one just in front of the Maple bench. Ryder had that RBI sac fly back in the 4th. That played at the very first Maple run of the game. 0 for, however, in the game, 0 for 2.
Good
Looks
off
at that
speed.
slow, deliberate off speed.
that pitch is
huh?
That pitch is filthy, and every time I see her throw it, I forget about it, so it catches me off guard every time. So I'd hate to stand in the box and expect fastball, and she pulls the string on you like that.
Ryder, right up the middle. Tough play for anybody. Center fielder comes charging, and Coach Sherman going to hold up Anton at third base. So a little bit of a cue shot right over the second base bag, and if either the shortstop or the second baseman would have been able to field that, they would have been able to make a quick play at second base. But 3 straight singles have them loaded. And
don't
they'll bring up Ellie Smith.
This is a huge situation for the Maples with nobody out and bases chucked.
She's swinging, taps one. They're going to let this one roll foul. Good heads-up play by Kaza, the third baseman. Randolph, the catcher, was right there as well. Smith, 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 6th. Struck out and grounded out in her other 2 plate appearances. Smith rocks that one down, but foul.
Really hard piece of hitting there. They're getting around on the Ringler fastball here early in the count.
Yeah, Ringler, she picked up a ton of strikeouts in those first 3 innings, 4 in fact, and hasn't struck out a Maple since.
Yeah, it's been a lot of trusting your defense here, a lot of fly balls and ground balls. But now 0-2, pitcher's count.
Ringler on the rubber, swing and a miss. Right on cue. Picks up her 5th strikeout of the afternoon.
All it take was a little Fetter's curse.
Announcer's curse that time for sure. It'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Kelly DeClark. 1 for 3. Does have a single. Takes a look at that pitch. It misses outside. Ringler, the big smile on her face. Wasn't quite sure if she agreed with the call. Clark swinging, hammers one to left field. 1 run in, 2 runs in. And they're going to wave in the 3rd. The throw comes into home way late. 3 RBI bases clearing double for Kelly DeClark. Has us knotted up at 6 apiece.
What a piece of hitting. Left fielder took 1 step in, and that was all it took to burn her, and it was smoked over her head and all the way to the wall. And just like that, we have ourselves a tie ball game in the 7th inning. Instant classic right before our eyes.
So 4 hits in this inning, have plated 3. And Seaholm still in business with DeClark in scoring position for Riley Vita.
Just 1 out as well. Look good to me, but then I don't matter.
So Seaholm just continues to battle back in this game. Never say die attitude.
It's an impressive 7th inning. Good approach to load them up with no outs, and they weren't getting greedy. Just one station to station, just get on base and hope for the best, and that's what they did. Their teammates picking each other up. As we're going to see another base hit, they're going to hold her up at third, though. Initial instinct was wave her home, and he quickly changed his ways. He said, okay, you never want to make an out, especially in a game.
1 out.
Right, at home plate to really kill the momentum of an inning. Good job to hold her at third base. And now you got runners on the corners and a chance to take the lead.
Never want to make that first or second out at third or at home.
Yep.
So they held the Clark up, and that'll bring up a Shockey. Takes a pitch inside. Kayla 0 for 3. Some really good swings by the Maples here in the 7th inning.
It's like a whole different team.
5 hits.
Just they have a swagger about them, some newfound confidence here in the 7th inning.
Some late inning magic off the bats of the Maples.
Ringler really, with almost a stare down with home plate umpire, is she really liked that off-speed pitch, bending back over the outside corner, but to no avail.
Baldridge already used his visit in this inning, so he can't go out and maybe calm Ringler down, so she's kind of on her own out there.
Defensive indifference gets the runner from first to second now. And 3-0, there's a bag open.
They're going to put Shockey on with the walk, and that'll bring up a very dangerous hitter in this Maple lineup, maybe the most dangerous hitter of them all this afternoon. Tessa Boitos, 2 for 3, couple singles, and 2 RBI. And she now has an opportunity to put the Maples in front, give them a lead.
Ringler might be rattled here a little bit, hasn't found the strike zone here in about 6 pitches, so maybe this would be an opportunity where the catcher can go out, call time, and try to settle her down, because obviously, like you mentioned, Coach Baldridge can't do it without bringing the hook with him, and that would mean taking her out of the game.
Oh, and the throw home, trying to cut down on the force out, sails wide. Sharon unable to make the play. So we can't give Boitos any RBI. We'll call it a fielder's choice. She tried to cut down the lead runner at home plate. Obviously, you weren't turning 2 in the game of softball on that play. So Sharon made the wise choice of trying to cut down the run at home and sailed the throw home.
Now Lamway is the 9th batter to bat here in the 7th inning. 2 runs in, and it's an 8-6 ball game just like that. 5 runs here in the 7th by the Maples.
And the run will score. So sac fly, RBI. So 6 runs in for very first lead of the game for the Maples. They waited to the top half of the 7th inning to do it. And they bat around as Brooke Anton singled and scored in her first at-bat of this inning. So this game has really gotten away from Groves in the 7th inning. Enjoyed a 6-3 lead, and just all of a sudden the Maple bats got hot as there's a long fly ball over the left fielder's head. This will score another run. RBI double for Landway. Check that, Anton. Brooke Anton with the RBI double. Top of the order now. Long. She's already singled and scored in this inning.
Now 11th batter to come to the plate here in the 7th inning.
takes a wide one. Shocking development here.
Yeah, it was an offense that was, I wouldn't say stagnant, but not as potent as it's shown here in the 7th, has come to life and brought a wave of warmth and electricity through the Maple dugout. And they have them believing that they're going to win this game as they've scored 7 times in the 7th inning.
There's another hit. That'll be
that could be trouble.
Run number 8. So right fielder finally has to go and get it. And the throw comes into third, and it'll be a triple for Long.
RBI triple.
Her second 3-bagger of the game.
Pretty impressive. There's a lot of candidates now for player of the game.
8 runs in here in the 7th inning. Unbelievable.
The big blow is DeClark's double, though. Really blew it open, cleared the bases, and tied this game. She'd be my leader in the clubhouse, but.
Yeah, DeClark. Mentioned that 3-run double. She has a single to go along with it as well. Runs scored. Really can just give the entire Seaholm lineup player of the game for the 7th inning alone.
Just do a group interview. Hey, how'd you guys think about that? Oh, we loved it. Okay, great.
7 hits in the 7th inning. Prior to this inning, they had 8 total hits, so they've pretty much matched their total in this inning alone. Have pushed across 8 runs and now lead it 11-6. Just unbelievable top half of the 7th inning. Instant offense.
Towering pop-up.
Ryder lifts one up to the shortstop. Sherman, who makes the catch. And wow, this game has turned on its head. And all of a sudden now, it's going to be the Groves Falcons who find themselves trailing the second time in this ball game. They trailed 1-0 prior. Now, just like that, they trail this game 11-6 as the Maples push 8 runs across in the top half of the 7th inning. Groves coming to bat, last chance. They trail it.
Come on, let's go.
Hey, hi, what's your name? You live around here? You're pretty. Where are you guys going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
Guess it's about time to get you fixed, sweetie.
Your pets will start getting noticed sooner than you think. Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
What a wacky game here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Seaholm, 7 hits, 8 runs in the top half of the 7th inning. They saw themselves trailing 6-3, and after those 8 runs were pushed across the board, they now lead it 11-6. And Grove's last chance opportunity here, finding themselves trailing by 5 runs.
Yeah, it was an offensive wake-up, I guess you could say, for the Maples, and now the last chance. And it's not just your ordinary last chance. It's, oh, we need 5 just to tie this puppy up. But, you know, it's going to be the 8-9-1 hitters to do so. So this is your opportunity. This is a rivalry game. You just saw the Maples offense come to life. Now it's your turn to answer the bell.
This is a Groves offense that has been humming along. They've scored the last 3 innings. Played at 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and 3 in the 6th. And you thought the way the game had been going up to that point that Falcons were just going to put the finishing touches on this game, but it wasn't meant to be Brooke Anton led things off with a single as 3 straight Maples reached base, and then they just started to pour it on as Bittger flies out. So 1 up, 1 down here in the 7th inning. We'll bring up the 9th place batter. Lundberg, 2 for 3. She's got a double and a single. So looking to turn things over here.
Your second leadoff hitter, if you will. She strokes one to the gap in right center.
That's going to be a tough running play for the right fielder who comes up empty. Landway unable to get it. And second time in this game, Lundberg with the double.
Good piece of hitting, just drove it again, a higher pitch off the opportunity for her to extend her arms, and she drove it the opposite way. And now, that's all you need, just get the first one on.
So tapper to the first baseman, to Clark, who's in her running for player of the game. She hit that big 3 RBI base clearing double in the 7th inning. That was the big hit of that 7th inning, and down to the final out. It'll be Conkle. 1 for 3. Needing to keep things alive. She takes a look. Slow off-speed pitch for a called strike. Conkle with Randolph in the on-deck circle. Ryder gone the distance. Both pitchers with complete games. Tapper, plenty of time for Ryder. She goes over to first, and they're going to call her out. And a very impressive come-from-behind victory here for the Maples in Game 1 of this doubleheader. They beat their rivals from Groves. Final score 11-6. As the Maples end up scoring 8 times in the 7th inning to take home Game 1. Once again, final score 11-6. Nick, what a wacky way to end this one.
It was just your ordinary kind of softball game through 6 innings, and enter the 7th inning, enter the Seaholm Maples, and enter 8 runs. A pretty impressive a bout for them in the 7th inning, just to, like you said, never say die. They didn't feel like they were out, and they showed it, and just run after run after run. The big blow by DeClark cleared the bags with a double, and that tied the game, and essentially they didn't look back.
So we'll take one final brief break here on BACB Sports, but when we come back, Nick, we'll have our player of the game interview.
This is your new kitten, or your new puppy. Every day, 70,000 puppies and kittens just like them are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of pet owners say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Well, it turns out those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number. 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddle or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more, fix at month 4.
Welcome back one final time to Birmingham Groves High School. This Game 1 of a doubleheader. Your final score, the Seaholm Maples come in and win it 11-6. Our very own Nick Buckler is alongside our player of the game, first baseman Kelly DeClark.
Thanks, Brad. Down here with Kelly DeClark of the Seaholm Maples. Kelly, really good comeback by you guys in the 7th inning. Kind of talk about what led you guys to go over the top and put up 8 runs.
Yeah. The anticipation of playing our rivalry is really gets to us sometimes, but I think just staying focused and backing each other up and knowing that we have the potential to get where we need to be was really a guiding force for us, and motivating each other, staying loud. We were really able to come back.
So you step up to the plate in the 7th inning, bases loaded, nobody out. Take me through that. Take me through your mind and how you essentially cash in and clear the bases?
So for me, I try to clear my mind, just knowing that this is a pretty big game and bases loaded. I just want to clear my head and just focus on the ball and knowing that I can hit it, and then it happens.
That's exactly what happened. You cleared your head and cleared the bases, tied the game. Your team went on to get the win 11-6 in Game 1. Congratulations and good luck in Game 2.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep. Brett, back up to you.
11 runs on 15 hits for the Seaholm offense, including 7 hits in the 7th inning as they pushed 8 runs across the board, and a terrific come-from-behind victory for the Seaholm Maples in Game 1. We'll take a quick, brief break here on BACB Sports, but when we come back, Game 2 of this doubleheader. Thank you so much for watching Game 1 right here on BACB Sports.
The police called after midnight when they caught our son at a drinking party. It was a real wake-up call. My wife and I are really worried. We don't know if our son has a serious problem or if he's just hanging around with the wrong crowd. How do we know what to do? The police officer who brought our son home suggested we try Al-Anon family groups. He said it might help to hear how other parents are dealing with alcohol problems. I didn't want to go to an Al-Anon meeting. I didn't want anyone to think we had problems like that. And I didn't think our son's problem was that bad. When I decided to give Al-Anon a try, I found it was a safe place that keeps your problems private. It was very helpful. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Welcome back to Birmingham Groves High School. Brad Fetters alongside Nick Buckler for Game 2 of this doubleheader. The Seaholm Maples cashing in and taking Game 1 in comeback dramatic fashion. Your final score in that one, 11-6, and no surprise, it's going to be Claire Higley to lead things off for the Groves Falcons here in their top half of the first inning. The two teams will trade home sides. This Game 2 of the doubleheader, the Maples will be your home team, even though technically they're on the road. So it'll be Higley, Conkle, Randolph, basically the same starting lineup for the Falcons, except for Lemberg's going to be your pitcher instead of Ringler. Ringler will take her spot in right field. So Coach Baldridge really not shaking things up too much here in Game 2, and at times it really worked for the Groves Falcons. They had their way with the Maples throughout that first game, but a disastrous 7th inning saw the Maples come from behind and pick up the victory. Rolled over to the second baseman, and Higley is going to be on base.
Yeah, I think we're going to start generous here. I think that was hit hot shot, though. That's a base hit. Just sneaks past the second baseman there, and we got ourselves a leadoff base runner here for Groves in inning number 1.
So it'll be Landway in the circle for Seaholm. She'll get the start.
Yep, she's ERA a little higher than she'd like. She's at 6.18. She's pitched 11 in a thirds inning. This will be her 4th start of the year. She brings a 2-2 record in. 8 strikeouts over that span as opposed to 6 walks. So her walk rate's a little higher than she'd like. But it's going to start with 2 singles to lead off inning number 1.
Claire Higley getting in just ahead of that throw. Conkle 1 for 4 in Game 1 has already matched her hit total here in Game number 2, and it'll bring up Haley Randolph. Randolph also 1 for 4 in Game number 1 for Groves. Wind continues to build. Skies have cleared up somewhat. Haven't had any sort of rain this afternoon.
This wind is whistling through our broadcast booth.
So back-to-back singles. They have runners at first and second for Groves. Randolph swinging. Lofts one up to left field. The left fielder Anton runs in. Can't make a play on it, so it falls harmlessly the outfield grass and foul territory. 0-2 count on the third place hitter. Cleanup hitter Bella Caza waiting in the on-deck circle. Asking for new softball. It's Landway. Missing inside. It's quite the battle in game one, a seesaw affair back and forth. Hot shot to left field in front of Anton. Baldridge going to send his runner. And an RBI single for Haley Randolph has the Falcons in front, 1-0.
Yeah, a quick start for this offense. 3 straight hits now. And good aggressive move there to send Higley around third, and she's able to score the game's first run in a quick 1-0 Grove lead.
So game one saw a slow start for the offense, and game number 2, the offense has picked right up from the get-go. Big swing and a miss by Bella Caza. Left hand hitting third baseman for Groves.
Picked it up in the second half of game number 1 here, the doubleheader, and slaps that one to left and misjudged and all the way to the wall.
Gets past Anton. 1 run in, and they're going to hold up Randolph as Conkle scores in. So big double for Bella Caza. 2 runs in, 4 hits already for this Falcon attack. And Coach Baldridge handed me the lineup for game number 2. He didn't have any words for me, and you could kind of just sense in his body language that they were disappointed in the outcome, obviously, of game 1, and they appear to be extremely hungry here in game number 2.
Yeah, I walked through the Maple dugout to get Kelly DeClark last game, and there was all smiles, a laid-back atmosphere after their obvious comeback win there. So tale of 2 different aspects, and we see a quick start there as we have a double down the left field line that scores another run. Another 2 runs, that is. You are
2
correct.
RBI double. So 5 batters have come to bat here for the Falcons. All 5 have reached base via a hit and 4 runs in, 3 singles and 2 doubles, and that's exactly what the doctor ordered here for the Falcons in game number 2. And another hard hit ball. Sherman over to the second baseman. First out of the inning. Advances Sharon over to third.
It's still a hard out there, as you mentioned, a hot shot to the second baseman.
Temperatures continue to drop. We got to be in the 40s by now.
Oh, no doubt. Maybe 30s, I think. I'd say 20s.
Quite a strong breeze as well.
Wind chill, real feel probably below 0. No doubt. Oh, that light pole saved that Audi that was cruising by as we heard a big ding, Cody Parkey style.
That Audi put on the brakes. I think she thought maybe she got destroyed there.
Yeah, that would have been quite bad.
Another hard hit ball to right field. Jenna Ringler with the RBI single. So the hits keep on coming.
It's like Oprah, you get a hit, everyone gets a hit.
I'll bring up Bitker. Lena Bitker for Sacker here in game number 2.
8th girl to bat it here in the inning, and
Yes,
only
sir.
1 out to show.
6 hits. So Groves will bat around more than likely unless the Maples are somehow able to come up with 2 here.
Single, double, ground out, single. Pretty good start.
Yeah, there you have teed off on Mia Landway, starting pitcher here in game number 2. Mia, in the first game, getting the start in right field. Tough play for the right fielder, falls in fair territory. And Ringler's going to scamper over to third. So runners on the corners now. Groves continuing to hit. 7 hits now in this inning.
A scorekeeper's nightmare when you have to start crossing off innings because they bat around, and it's not going to take much time. We had to do it in the 7th inning of the game 1, and now the very next inning in chronological order, the first inning of the following game. We're going to have to cross off the rest of our innings here and bat around.
So it'll be Lenberg. Lenberg reached base 3 times, had 3 hits in game number 1. She's taking a couple doubles.
Yeah, she's taking over mound duties as well for the Groves Falcons. She will be taking the place of Ringler. She fouls one back to the screen.
Yeah, Lenberg, we mentioned, is that second leadoff hitter for Groves.
That's right.
Very patient hitter, good eye at the plate, but also generates a lot of contact. This Groves lineup top to bottom is really good, and she lofts one out to right center field. Right fielder makes a nice running grab, tag up from third base, and another run in. So sac fly RBI for Lenberg.
That's a deep fly ball as well, so she definitely got a lot of it. Definitely got a little bit under it, though. She would have liked to square that up, but still a really good piece of hitting. And let's draw that line over, because this is now inning number 1, and that's going to be 2, and that's going to be 3.
Making all kinds of changes to our scorecard already.
Looks like my math homework.
Perfect start.
Yep.
For Groves.
Wind's picking up, too, blowing hard left to right.
So they bat around. Claire Higley, who led things off with a single and scored, will bat for the second time in this inning. 6 runs in on 7 hits. So very efficient offensive attack here in the first inning. I get the feeling that Seaholm's not going to be able to wait around until the 7th inning for a come-from-behind victory in this one.
Definitely going to have to chip away at this deficit, as it's already reached 6, and we're only not even through inning number 1 with a runner in scoring position as well. Ooh.
Higley looks at one on the outside, taken all the way. 5 different Falcons already with an RBI. Higley pounds one to center field. Tough play for the center fielder. Going to come up empty, and it's going to be another single RBI for Claire Higley. Nothing flashy about this first inning. Just getting the job done, and it brings up Sophie Conkle, shortstop. Takes a pitch on the outside corner. Higley going to just take second base on the stolen base.
Yep.
Nobody even covering second.
No, I think they have bigger things to worry about here, and that's going after this hitter. The last thing they need is to throw the ball around and have another run come home.
Did you move your car, by the way?
That reminded me, I forgot. But no, I'm over here, so I missed that by about 4 cars. Some 4 cars to the left where that one laid. A lot of open area by my car, too, but I'm sure.
Yeah, you're the only one in that area, huh?
The probability doesn't favor me too well.
Everybody else moved their cars except for you. You might want to do that in the next half inning.
Ooh.
Conkle all over that pitch. So far, Mia Landway hasn't missed many bats here in the circle for the Maples.
On the bright side, she hasn't walked a batter yet.
No, she's been throwing strikes.
And she came in with a high walk rate, 11 1/3 innings entering play here today. 6 walks as opposed to 8 strikeouts. So definitely a rate that, well, I guess, she's improved on.
But another hard hit ball. Unable to come up with the second baseman, and Higley comes around in to score. So Coach Baldridge sending her home, and Conkle and Higley both 2 for 2 in this inning. This has really been an impressive start for the Falcons. It'll bring up Higley Randolph, catcher, singles, scored, had an RBI, had some of the hardest hit balls in game number 1, and right on cue, slashes one to center field. It'll fall in front of the center fielder, as most of the hits have come to center field.
Well, your top 3 hitters, Higley, Conkle, Randolph, all 2 for 2 with 2 singles.
And it brings up arguably the most dangerous hitter in this lineup, Bella Caza, the third baseman. She's got a RBI double and a run scored. She has an opportunity to stretch this one to double digits. Caza looks at the first pitch, missing up. I don't think we'll see the sun for the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I could use some vitamin D, right? That's the one with the sun?
It is.
Or vitamin Z. No, it's the zoo.
The zoo.
The zoo. I haven't made the trip up the road, or down the road.
Down the road, yeah.
Okay. I need to find my bearings here real quick. And a Kleenex to go with it.
There's another deep fly ball. Anton gonna make the tough play out in left field, but the damage has been done. Falcons send up 13 batters in the top half of the first inning. After half an inning of play, lead it 8-0. So take a break here on BACB Sports, but when we come back, the Maples' first at-bats of this game, they already find themselves in an 8-run hole.
I don't want another drinking man in my life. My first marriage ended because I couldn't handle all those endless arguments and sleepless nights. My parents divorced when my dad chose the bottle over our family. I swore it would never happen to me, but that's exactly what I did. I ended up marrying and divorcing a man who reminded me of my father. Now I'm catching myself before I do the same thing all over again. Why am I attracted to a man who is unwilling to share responsibilities? I want more fulfillment in my life. Does my happiness depend on whether someone else drinks? My pastor suggested I try Al-Anon family groups, and I'm sure glad I took his advice. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Bottom of the first inning, Brad Fetters alongside Nick Buckler. And wow, what a start to this ball game for the Groves Falcons. 8 runs on 10 hits in the first inning. They lead at 8-0. Maples in their first at-bats at game number 2. After coming out victors in game number 1, they're going to send out Long, Reuter, Smith to Clark, Vita, Boitos, Lanway, Anton, and Wesolowski. First look at Chloe.
And they're going to face the right-handed offerings of new pitcher, Tegan Lemberg. This will be her 3rd start of the season and 3rd appearance on the mound, or in the circle, if you will. Brings a 1-0 record, would like to lower that ERA a smidge, 8.75 entering today. But she struck out 14 batters, walk rate's a little bit high at 9. So that's something she'd like to improve on as well. And she's pitched 8 innings of work. And she's done some damage at the plate today and would love to finish off the day, doing some damage of her own on the mound, but there's the walk rate we talked about as she walks the leadoff batter. So, chance for Seaholm to chip away at this deficit.
Brings up Abby Ryder, playing third base here in game number 2, and all of a sudden, Lemberg can't find the plate.
On a cool day like today, it's always tough for pitchers to get a good grip and a good feel of the baseball or the softball in this instant, but there she's got one. Snap throw.
You mentioned all those stats. Big thank you to head coach Brian Baldridge and to Derek Ryder over at Seaholm for providing us with those valuable stats. It's always nice when you're talking the game of softball or baseball. It's always a statistical-driven game, isn't it?
Always. We're not going to have your war stats or anything like that, and frankly, I don't think those are real stats to begin with.
Well, be careful.
No, I don't
You're covering baseball. And
no, there's no such thing.
The head baseball coach here at Birmingham Groves loves analytics, so
but
you'll
does
be
he
covering
love war, though?
Oh, well, just about everything.
Because
just wait.
Let me tell you, I think war only came about, it was an argument to not give the MVP to Miguel Cabrera when they were saying, well, Mike Trout should be involved. And don't get me wrong, Mike Trout's a great baseball player. However, Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown that year, and you're going to tell me that he didn't have a good enough WAR, so you're not going to give him the MVP as we see another walk here? I'm getting angry.
You're getting very heated over a conversation that probably doesn't need to happen right now.
You'd rather be cold.
Well,
I'm bringing the heat.
We need to bring the action to the viewers right now.
You're right.
Zelly Smith, the third place hitter, takes a called strike. No, I agree. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, WAR is wins over replacement, or wins above replacement. That's where you get the A, and basically your replacement's just kind of an average ball player, and that analytic category is how many wins above an average ball player you provide a team.
And I think you could argue that maybe that means that the Tigers had more depth as we have a hit by pitch here than the Angels did that year. That's all I'm saying. Bases chuck, nobody out.
So this isn't exactly what Coach Baldridge wanted out of his defense and his pitcher Lenberg. After getting out to an early 8-0 lead, you would have liked a nice snappy inning here in the bottom half of the first inning, and all of a sudden DeClerc is up, and DeClerc had a big hit in game 1, and that's what eventually got named her player of the game. That bases clearing 3 RBI double, an opportunity here once again with the bases chock full of Maples. So 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody down for the cleanup hitter DeClerc.
And a chance for her to put her name in the ring if she can start a rally here. That just
pitch outside. Yeah, that one just missed. Terrific vantage point there from our center field camera.
Oh, we got some chit-chat going on now. Umpire going to take his mask off now. He doesn't like Coach Baldridge in his ear, asking where that pitch missed.
Nice job, our entire crew here today. Working under not the most ideal conditions, to say the least.
Could be worse.
Yeah,
heard of snow. I've heard of rain for these broadcasts. Luckily, I haven't experienced those. I'm just going to complain about today's. Today's is, a
deep fly ball, left field, looking up. Foul ball.
Wow.
Just barely foul. That one landed in some mud. I wasn't quite sure what happened to that softball, and it must have fallen in a mud puddle.
Yeah, it plunged. As you can see, she's wiping it off. Look at that thing.
Sarah Sherman. Nobody wants to touch that thing. Get another look at it here. Is that one? Yep.
Yeah, that's a foul ball. That was a correct call, but little confusion as there was no sign from the outfield ump or the home plate ump. They were trying to figure it out.
Well, clearly the field ump's ball is anything past third base is his. Pitch missing up, so
very good
like
swing by DeClerc nonetheless.
Fills up the count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nowhere to put DeClerc. Lundberg really having a difficult time finding plate. Clark goes down swinging for the first out of the inning. So big strikeout there for Lundberg.
Yeah, you could let that deep foul ball rattle you, but all it is a long strike, and Lundberg was not rattled, comes back, gets the strikeout, and gets ahead of Vita here with a low strike on the knees on the outside corner.
Tessa Boitos waiting in the on-deck circle, designated player. Ooh, drilled her.
Right on the ankle bone, it looked like.
Yeah,
that one doesn't
hurt.
feel good, especially in today's conditions.
So second batter hit by a pitch here. Vita's slowly going to make her way down to first base, and we'll see if they can maybe potentially get her a courtesy runner. Courtesy run for the catcher. And Coach Baldridge going to come out and have a conversation with Lundberg. So the first run for Seaholm has crossed the plate.
Counts for an RBI, so didn't get pegged for no reason right there.
She wore it.
This, just try to tell everybody, trust your defense, especially because they haven't given up a hit yet. It's been 2 walks, 2 hit batters, and that's when you just got to say, who cares if they hit it? Put it in play and see what the defense can do. You got a good one behind you.
Yeah, we were both impressed by the defense played by both of these teams in game number 1.
Errors were low, and we haven't had one yet here today.
Yeah, especially for the amount of chances both of these defenses had. It's a tough swirling wind in the outfield as well. Oftentimes you'll see some misplayed fly balls, but I thought the outfielders did a tremendous job. And we know it's difficult a lot of times to field these ground balls because they're such hot shots on a defense that has to play in at the softball level. I thought they really cut down on the amount of mistakes. So you're right, pitch to contact.
And that's what you got to do, especially in the
cold.
Yes, I was trying to.
You want your defense to be behind you.
What do they say? That show that's out that everyone's watching, Winter has begun or something?
Winter is here.
Yeah,
right?
I haven't watched a second of that. You can call me names if you'd like as we get a strikeout.
Winter is coming.
Feels like it.
So second strikeout of the game for Lundberg will bring up Mia Landway. That's a big out right here to limit the damage. We talked about it throughout game 1 that the Falcons had chances. They loaded the bases. They had a couple runners on. They left a ton of runners on early in that game, and it came back to haunt them.
And, the pitchers helped themselves a lot in game 1 at the plate.
Yep.
Guess who's on the mound right now? Landway.
And
yep, she's up with bases loaded. No better time than now. This would be a huge dent that they could, relieve.
It's that high strike that the Maples have gone after. You talked about how juicy of a pitch that must look to a batter.
Does it ever?
Landway holds that bat on her shoulder. Pitch is delivered. She goes down swinging. So 3 straight strikeouts. Whatever Coach Baldridge said to Lundberg must have worked as the Maples leave them loaded. And after 1 inning of play, the Falcons lead it 8-1.
Parents sure have their hands full, and they could use an extra hand. Now, every state offers free or low-cost health insurance for your sports hero or budding artist. Kids up to age 19 can get checkups, doctor and dentist visits, hospital care, prescriptions, and more. Your child may qualify based on your family size and income. It's one less thing to worry about. Call or go online for more information.
Good boy there has decided to stick around for game 2, and she's lucky with that fur.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit warmer than us.
I was going to say I'd pay for some fur like that this time. I was just complaining to you, Brad, about my coldness.
Let's go look at us.
Yep.
Braving the elements.
Can I hide behind this pole so you can't see my nose running?
I had to pull out the winter hats for game number 2.
I had mine out when it was 60 degrees before the game. I was getting, people were making fun of me, but I said, you watch, gang. I actually didn't say that, but now I can pretend I did.
We've called enough of these early spring games that I should know better to always have the winter coat and gloves in the trunk just in case. But
you want one of my gloves?
No. I'll be okay. You weren't offering?
Well,
Thanks.
no, I thought it'd be a nice gesture
Thanks,
on
partner.
the air.
So we go to the second inning. Falcons lead it 8-1, 5-6-7. Sharon Sherman Ringler, your Falcons coming to bat here. Top half of the second inning. It was an eventful first inning. After a wacky conclusion to game number 1, the Falcons really picked up where the Maples left off, plating 8 runs on 10 hits in that first inning. They eventually left even 2 on base, so it could have even been a bigger inning for the Falcons. On the other hand, Seaholm plated 1 in the bottom half of the first and no hits. So 2 very contrasting styles as Sharon is out number 1 here in the second as she grounds out.
Real good strong throw by Long there to get the speedy runner.
I'll bring up Sarah Sherman, the left fielder, grounded out in the first inning. Keeps those hands really close to her head, kind of a crouching stance. Not too many of these Falcons have a real big pronounced crouch.
Hit the ball hard last at bat, but right at the second baseman. And she was able to throw her out with ease.
Takes a look at a called strike, evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Mia Landway back in the circle for Seaholm. Pitch outside, 2 balls, 1 strike to the left fielder. Kind of missed the walk-up tunes the girls used to have.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
What would your walk-up song be if you were in the show?
It's a tough question. Come back to me in a little bit. Let me think about it.
I used to have mine picked out.
Did you?
Mine was a bullpen entry song.
And that was?
In my head, I was the closer of the Tigers.
Okay.
Then I woke up. But, mine would have been Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh, there you go.
The bing, you know? Now then I stop and I come sprinting out. Sellout crowd.
Strikeout victim is Sarah Sherman. Caught looking. As Ernie Harwell would say, excessive window shopping.
2 up, 2 down. How about that?
Brings up Jenna Ringler, the pitcher in game 1.
All right, coming at you hot.
Didn't flinch.
No, you're like the woman in Toronto.
Sure am.
Oh, no.
Ooh, getting closer to Nick Buckler's car. Ooh, that Jeep took it right off the license plate.
That kid was getting out of it, too.
Getting out of it or getting into it.
Either way.
No time is better than to get out of here right now.
That one might have been close to the closest one to mine yet. I'm holding my breath, but
Ringler singled and scored back in the first. Another hard hit ball into right field. So she's 2 for 2. Well, my favorite band's OAR, so it's got to be something by them. I just can't think anything really too upbeat to play as a walk-up tune. This town's a good one.
There's a lot of eligible songs, and I've also heard a lot of questionable songs from some Tiger players that I said, how would that ever pump you up?
Big swing and a miss by Bicker. There's a really good Dave Matthews song that's for base, but drive in, drive out.
When I think Dave Matthews, I think crash into me.
Rolled over to the shortstop. Gonna have to pick it. A terrific play at first base by Kelly DeClark will do it. So nice bounce back inning for Mia Landway. limits the damage as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Falcons lead it 8-1.
In America, up to 1.6 million youth are homeless each year. Up to 40% of them identify as gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender.
Most of them have been thrown out of their homes or run away out of fear and rejection.
It's time for things to change.
America's next generation needs us to stand with them so they can stand on their own.
Get informed, get involved. Visit 40tonone.org.
Welcome back to the bottom of the second inning. It's going to be a pinch hitter for Brooke Anton. It's going to be Petra Campbell to lead things off here for the Seaholm Maples. She wears number 2, left-handed batter for Coach Sherman and the Maples. Takes a pitch right down the heart of the plate. Lundberg back in the circle for Groves here. Big wind up in the pitch, called strike. So quick 0-2 hole for Petra. Campbell, 2-strike approach. Goes down swinging. So that's 3 straight strikeouts now for Lundberg. Gives her 4 in the game. So after some control issues in that first inning, I think she's really has settled down. She had those 2 walks and the 2 hit batters, but Coach Baldridge went out there, and we're gonna have to ask him after the game what in the world he said to his starting pitcher to get her to start throwing strikes, because whatever it is, we're going to have to bottle it up and maybe sell it.
Yeah, 3 in a row and 4 out of the last 5 have gone down via the strikeout.
Chloe Wesolowski, our first look at Chloe, the right fielder. Slightly open stance, elbow bent. She digs in that front foot, and takes a pitch on the inside corner.
That's why he question mark at the end of that corner.
You and I looked at each other, guilty as charged.
Chloe looked like she was getting out of the way of that one. She lifted up that leg, but to no avail.
Definitely shuffled the feet a little bit. Takes that one high and outside, no question about that. So it fills up the count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bottom of the second inning, so glad you decided to tune us in. If you've missed any portion of this doubleheader, you can check us out online, bloomfieldtwp.org. Click on our video on demand portion of the website under media. All of our spring sporting events will be available online. Got quite a few more broadcasts as we're kind of kicking things off.
I'm hoping for some warmer weather.
Oh, I guarantee you, it'll get warmer.
Is that a guarantee?
That is a guarantee.
Is that a Garen Fetter?
It is.
All right, I'll take it. I thought the hot chocolate days were beyond me here this year.
You know better than that as a Michigander.
Yeah, it's not like I just moved here. But I'll complain every year. Jason Radulski almost wore that one.
He got out of the way. He didn't stick up a paw. He brought home a souvenir, Jason. Didn't want one? Don't get to keep them anyway, right?
Yeah, it would be stealing from the high schools. Kind of person to do that.
Leadoff hitter Long at the plate.
Ooh. Where'd that miss? Tad outside.
I think Long thought she was going to get rung up. She waited an extra beat in the box, and she twirls that bat around, new life.
Yep.
Bright pink and turquoise bat. Takes another look at a pitch high and outside. Evens up the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down here in the bottom half of the second inning.
I was one of these girls with short sleeves on right now. Cold looking at them.
Yeah, most are wearing sleeves as long as pops one up to her compadre at shortstop. Conkle fires one across the diamond. Chloe back in plenty of time.
Conkle one without sleeves.
Yeah, she's braver than you and I, that's for sure.
As is Ryder, who's up to bat right now.
Ryder, she's tough. She's a softball player. She walked back in the first. Was one of 4 base runners for the Maples, but after the impressive offensive showing by the Falcons, they still find themselves trailing in this ball game 8-1. Ryder slashes one, pops one up. Kaza drifts back and makes the catch at third base. So the walk is all the Maples have in the second inning. We've played 2. Falcons lead it 8-1.
Talking to veterans about the real issues they're dealing with can be awkward and uncomfortable. But when their behavior changes, it's time to act. Because if we don't, our families and relationships will suffer. Listen to the veterans in your life and show you care. It matters. When you recognize a veteran is in crisis, call the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1.
Top of the third. Hometown crowd here in Beverly Hills enjoying this one. Falcons are out in front 8-1. Everybody's bundled up though, aren't they?
Yeah. If I would have her hood up because I'm freezing. Gloves should be worn. Snow pants, boots, army boots for that matter. The temp seal. This is Snowmageddon's on the horizon. I'm determined.
The ever dangerous Lenberg at the plate. She laces one into the right. Oh, what a play by Vita out in center field. Normally a catcher, didn't know she could play center field. As Anton's now behind the plate. And we got to get another look at this. They don't get much better than that diving play. Vita has moved to center field.
Great play.
Anton's now behind the plate. That change got past us, huh?
It did. A little distraction going on that half inning. Made a visitor.
But how about that? You get thrust into center field after being behind the plate, and a hot shot to right center field, and what a grab.
Yeah, you don't get a chance to really warm up out in center. That's the first batter you're going to face, and you're going to have to go lay out on a chilly day and dive across the icy, snowy grass.
Snowy.
It's like, I feel like I'm on the Titanic right now.
Coach Sherman kind of shaking things up a little bit. Not too often you see a left-handed catcher. Didn't even know they made left-handed catchers mitts.
My battery mate back in the day was a lefty. That's why both of our careers are over.
So top of the order, Higley, 2 for 2, couple runs scored. RBI for the slick fielding center fielder. Look at that focus on Claire's face. The pitch comes in. She floats one up to the first baseman. Easy play to Clark. Higley gives off a visible,
a growl
audible,
of some kind.
Yeah, audible growl. She was not happy with her at bat there. Brings up Sophie Conkle. 2 for 2, couple singles. Skips out of the way of that pitch.
That hit my big toe, and I'm not happy about it. It's a little chilly. That's what I get for having it border the gate here, the backstop.
Yeah, we're both kind of stretched out back here.
Got to stay loose.
Tapper to the second baseman from the knees. No shot. at getting Conkle. So 3 straight hits for Conkle to start this game. 3 singles, gets her on base.
Yeah, way to run that one out. Good effort there. She saw it was hit towards up the middle. It would have had to been a perfect play to get her, and they weren't able to execute. So 2 out infield single nonetheless.
That'll bring up Haley Randolph. We talked about her stroke at the plate. 2 for 2 in this one. A run scored and an RBI. She squares around. She's not bunting. Runner takes off for second. Stolen base for Conkle. Putting runners in motion. Coach Baldridge maybe trying to force the issue a little bit. Create a throw. Gives Randolph an opportunity now with a runner in scoring position. That's a fair ball. And Clark will step on first to complete the play. That's the 3rd out of the inning. So Falcons get a runner in scoring position, unable to cash in. And after 2.5 innings of play, they continue to lead it 8-1. Here's a look at Birmingham Groves baseball head coach Sean Morrison. He was nice enough to come over and say hello to us an inning ago as his team fell today to Country Day. And we'll see them in action a couple times here on BACB Sports. Big doubleheader coming up with Seaholm, and then that traditional 3rd one-off game. Doubleheader over at Seaholm, and the single game here at Groves. Always fun, and Groves has dominated that rivalry as of late. They've won like a dozen straight games. Seaholm looking to put an end to that. And at times this softball rivalry has been one-sided with the Maples owning it.
They got some work to do here, in game number 2 of this doubleheader.
Yeah, they sure do, trailing 8-1. These 2 teams have the potential of meeting up in districts. That district has not been drawn out as of yet, but they do know they will compete in the same district. And that will take place over at Royal Oak. Groves and Seaholm, along with Berkeley, Bloomfield Hills, and the home team Royal Oak. So that's going to be a tough district.
Always. Uh-oh. Hang on.
Kind of just hold your breath, don't you?
Wow, that one hopped over the Mercedes or BMW out there.
So it's to Clark. She had a big opportunity back in the 1st inning with the bases loaded, and she went down swinging.
She had that long fly ball that plugged out in the mud, too, that there was a little confusion on if it was fair or foul.
This time she rolls it over to the 3rd baseman. Kaza, low throw, and this one's going to sail out of play. So it should be a dead ball. Smith should have to go back to 3rd. No. She has to go back to 3rd.
She asked the umpire if that was good as she stepped on home. And, I hate to say it, but the home plate umpire is not getting any help from his guy out in the field.
And Coach Baldridge going to ask him for consideration here. And
I would think that they would have to put her back to 3rd base.
The runner's at first base, and, I mean, that ball quickly got past that line, that fence line. There's a white spray painted line that shows you the fence line. It extends all the way to the foul pole. And that quickly got over that line. The runner at first base should go to 3rd and stay at 3rd. And
you can see his voice, his mouth. He said, "I didn't see it." So that's never a good sign. But it all comes into play as where was the runner when it went out of bounds or out of play. I think they're going to let this stay on the field, and I think we're going to have a run across.
So the Falcon faithful not happy with that call.
In his defense, it's not the home plate umpire's call, as he was focusing on the play at the plate, that the fielding umpire should have been the one to make the call. So that is just if you can pick up the sounds of fans.
Well, DeClark should get the extra base, so she should be planted at second.
Which is
and
correct.
the runner that was at first should not be given home plate. So she should be down at third. So we'll bring up Vita.
Nonetheless,
slashes one to the right side, and DeClark froze at second momentarily to make sure that I guess that ball got through, and now Vita's going to take second. Grove's not going to be happy about this one either. So Vita will give her a single.
Back to the scoring on the previous play. That was how DeClark got on. It's an E5. It was a throwing error by the third baseman. And then controversy set in after that. And then it continued into the following play. Bang, bang call at second base, so it's a judgment call. That's what happens. So if you're picking up the sound, there's some angry fans in the house.
So it's Tessa Boitos, the designated player at the plate, a strikeout victim back in the first. Yeah, as the game progresses, people are going to get more and more upset.
Especially with his weather.
Yeah. Boitos swinging. Shallow fly ball to right field is going to fall. This one should plate one. And Coach Sherman holding up the runner. So an RBI single for Boitos.
We've yet to record an out here in the bottom of the third.
2 runs in, huh?
Coach Baldridge going to come out, calm down his troops.
See if he has any parting words for either of the umpires. Tough job.
Always.
And from what I understand, it's becoming a profession where you're seeing less and less people signing up to be officials.
Yeah,
so
I read an article.
As hard as we are on them, and parents and coaches and announcers, we also should give them credit. They are doing a job that not many want to do.
That's right. Yep, it's
always under some scrutiny and criticism. And
nationwide, they're down 47% in
direct hit to the windshield of that Dodge.
Well, yeah, that's getting closer and closer and closer to my whip. But
so we saw Tom Flynn earlier this afternoon. He came by and said hello, and he might at some point have to put up some netting here. I don't know.
Or some insulation into the booth. I don't care about the cars. I care about the warmth of the broadcasters.
Mia Lanway at the plate.
No outs, chance to really
get back in this ball game. They've already plated 2, and here comes a third as Vita's going to slide in under the tag. So an 8-run lead has evaporated. The Maples have cut it in half now, 8-4. And if you're anticipating anything easy here in this rivalry game, you are mistaken. Falcons are more than likely going to have to play 27 outs. Check that, 21 outs, 7 innings.
Oh.
Long shot off Landway's bat, long run, can't come up with it. Foul ball. Long, loud strike.
Umpire out there didn't even turn around when that ball was hit. He was staring into the dugout.
Landway was a strikeout victim back in the first. Goes down swinging for a second time in the ball game.
Wow, that's just the first out of this inning. Had to check my stats there. Didn't trust myself for a minute.
It'll be Brooke Anton, her first at bat. She was momentarily replaced by Petra Campbell, strikeout victim. Lenberg now with 5 Ks in the game. That Seaholm bench keeping up the chatter, trying to will their team to victory here in game number 2. Already impressive come from behind victory in game number 1, 11-6.
I bet they're a lot warmer in there. They're not out in the wind. Got the nice concrete wall surrounding them. Maybe some heat going on in there.
Another strikeout, back-to-back strikeouts. All swinging strikeouts as well.
Yeah, that's a stat that you look for a lot in the majors, and if that means your stuff is really working when you get a lot of swings and misses.
Chloe Wazalowski, she walked back in the 2nd.
You know, I almost brought my scarf from home today, but I thought, you know, there's no need. And had I known, let me tell you, that would have been a good thing to do. When in doubt, bring more clothing, because you could always leave it in your car or take layers off.
Amen.
It's a big swing here from Wesolowski. She makes contact. It could go far away. It's a big swing.
See if she changes her approach here with 2 strikes. Makes contact this time, shoots one. Wow.
It hit the car next to mine.
Everybody just kind of holds their breath, don't they?
That one me, because that was a low, hot shot past the Ford Escape.
We should just have a parking lot camera that just fouls all the foul balls.
Yeah.
As they play Plinko out there. So 3 straight strikeouts to end the inning. A nice job by Lenberg to pitch her way out of danger. She now has 7 strikeouts as her Falcons lead it after 3 innings of play, 8-4.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
That looks more like a winter sky than a spring sky. Welcome back to Birmingham Groves High School. Falcons coming to bat here in the top half of the 4th inning. 8 runs on 12 hits. Seaholm 4 runs on 2 hits. Is getting dark here. No lights, obviously, at softball field. So we're going to try to get 7 innings in. It'll be pretty close.
Yep, we have the beauty of our lovely folks in the truck to brighten up your shot a little bit here with the Iris.
There's a big long fly to deep center field. Vita made a couple nice plays out there in center field, showing her versatility. Yeah, we can iris those cameras up. It's a lot darker than it looks on your screens right now.
We mentioned
Sharon up next.
We mentioned it in our soccer broadcast that lack of communication there as that dropped in foul between third base and catcher. But we mentioned in our soccer broadcast earlier this month that the one end of the field the light was out because we had some power issues in that game, and the lovely folks behind the scenes were able to brighten it up so you could really see what was going on.
Sharon hard hit. Oh, another nice play by Vita as she goes down to a knee to make the catch.
She can't even believe it. Did you see her face when she got up? She said, "Are you kidding me?"
Robin Sharon of a base hit. What a play by Riley Vita, playing center field in her natural catcher position, and she can laugh about it now. Why not? What a catch out there. Another look at it. It's an absolute bullet off the bat of Sharon, and Vita goes down to 2 knees.
Look at her face here. Look at that.
Long shortstop is jumping up and down in celebration as well. That's about as good of 2 plays as you're going to see a center fielder make in a game. So Landway looking for a quick 1-2-3 inning here. We'll leave things up to Sarah Sherman. 0 for 2, grounded out and a strikeout. It's just missing up. Back-to-back pitches up. 3-1 count now. Sarah Sherman, good hitters count to the left fielder.
What I noticed about a lot of the fans, they put out their seats and then don't sit in them. They go and hide behind, because the wind.
Oh, yeah.
They go and tuck in behind the dugout to block the wind. Not a bad idea. And that missed somewhere.
Have also decided they're just going to watch the rest of this game on BACB Sports. They've gone home for the day.
Yeah, they said Brad's got us covered on this one.
We'll bring it on home for you guys.
Yep.
Jenna Ringler now 2 for 2, a run scored, an RBI. Ringler pitched in game 1, playing right field in game 2. This should be a routine play, perhaps. And they're going to call her out at second base, so fielder's choice. Relatively quick inning. That's what the Maples needed. They can bring up that offensive attack. It's going to be the leadoff hitter coming up next in the bottom half of the 4th inning.
The following is a public service announcement test to determine if you need a fishing license and boat registration before you head out on the water. Let us begin. Are you your own boat? Is this your idea of fishing with friends? Do you want this in your favorite lake? It. Regardless how you answered, you need to be licensed and registered. Do your part at takemefishing.org.
We head now to the bottom of the 4th inning. Seaholm looking to cut into a 4-run deficit. They trail 8-4, and it's going to be Bryn Long to lead things off. The shortstop 0 for 1, a walk and a pop out in 2 plate appearances.
We did get some clarification in between those half innings. As you know, a lot of times as Lions fans, a lot of us have heard that, the refs admit on Monday that they missed a call in that game. We just got clarification from the home plate umpire that the runner should have been sent back to third on that controversial play, but they essentially let her score. So just so that the umpire admitted to being wrong. And hey, sometimes you got to do it as we have a leadoff single.
Yeah, home plate umpire said, yeah, you're right. She should have been at third. Too late now. Run already scored. Seaholm had scored it. Brings up Abby Ryder. 0 for 1. Riley Vita's, I believe that's her father back there, decided he wasn't going to make a play on that ball. Call him out.
His daughter was, she would have made that play. She made every play out there in center.
That's a tough play. Quite a few of those balls have fallen in that kind of Bermuda Triangle out there. That spot between the first, second, and right fielder, and on the left side of the field, the shortstop, third base, and left fielder. And really, that just comes down to communication. The outfielder's got to come sprinting in, and usually your second baseman or your shortstop's got to be running out as hard as they can.
Maybe that's a play if you look at it further, doing some shifting, maybe putting the third baseman over in right center field to cover the rover position, if you will. Study the percentages. I'm sure head baseball coach will be in for some percentages and numbers.
Yeah, both of our teams here in Birmingham do shift. Another hard hit ball. Freezing and nearly turning. Oh, they're going to say she turned two, and oh, boy.
Oh, nah, no.
Okay. Boy, that's a tough double play to turn, and they will say that Ellie Smith was out at first. It was a bang-bang play at first, and so Bryn Long moves over to third.
Would you argue and say that's a makeup call?
Well, it is what it is now, right?
No turning back. Could you imagine if that call would have gone against Groves, though, what the fans that are remaining here would have done?
Well, I don't think Coach Baldridge would have liked to have gotten tossed.
We might have seen him get tossed in that game.
Guess Kelly DeClark lifts one up, and it's going to be Bella, third baseman, making the catch. So Seaholm threatens, but they do not score. We've played 4, and the Falcons lead at 8-4.
How do you know? No cages, no crates, no tie stalls, no painful living conditions. How do you know? No hormones or antibiotics in feed. How can you know? Your choice is wholesome and humane. Did you know choosing natural foods raised in humane conditions promotes farm animal well-being as well as yours and your family? Choose Certified Humane. Certified Humane certification and labeling program assures customers that when they purchase products with the Certified Humane logo, those animals were raised healthy and humanely. When you choose Certified Humane, everyone benefits. For more information about Certified Humane and its benefits to animals, farmers, and consumers, visit their website at www.certifiedhumane.org. That's www.certifiedhumane.org.
8-9-1 for the Groves Falcons here in the top half of the 5th inning. Bitger, Lenberg, and Higley looking to add on to an 8-4 lead. Bitger 1 for 2. Singled and scored in that eventful first inning.
You know, I think I'm starting to warm up.
Are you?
I think I'm just numb, but hey.
Can't feel your body anymore?
I can't feel my face when I'm calling softball. But I love it.
So Groves scored all 8 of their runs in the first inning. 10 hits in that first inning, and subsequently they've scored 0 runs and just had 2 hits since. So this offense that showed us everything in the first has been relatively quiet since. Really credit Mia Landway. She's been pounding the strike zone as she gets Bitker to go down looking. We'll bring up the 9th place batter. Lenberg, the pitcher, 0 for 1 as a sac fly, RBI, and a fly out to deep center field. She's hit the ball hard twice. Really nothing to show for it. Can't hit it to center field. Riley Vita's out there.
Yeah, she's catching everything. But with these temperatures, hopefully not a cold.
No, pneumonia, perhaps. 1 ball, no strike count. Make it 2-0. On
Looked like
Lenberg.
Yeah. Clipped the umpire there on a bounce.
Taking Lenberg, giving them the start in the circle.
She's got 7 strikeouts of her own.
Takes a called strike there. Looked like she was taken all the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned those 7 strikeouts. Landway now 2 of her own. Nice play. The shortstop. Nothing routine this afternoon. That force out goes 6-3. Top of the order, Claire Higley, 2 for 3, a couple runs scored, an RBI. neither team has gone down in order in game 2 of this doubleheader.
Interesting stat there.
Higley takes a called strike on the outer part of the plate, evens up the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 down here at the top of the 5th inning.
Could that be the Fetter's curse striking again?
Probably.
Because there's a chance that this could be a 1-2-3 inning here, depending what Higley does.
Fouls one straight back. Just to our right, positioned directly behind home plate. A little bit of an optical illusion from that center field camera.
Yeah. If you look closely,
you can see us.
Yeah, I wasn't going to finish the sentence. I was just going to play I Spy with your little eye, you know? Got to know it.
One of us is hiding behind this monitor.
I wish it was me.
And Higley goes down looking. Second strikeout of the inning, and Groves, for the first time in the ball game, goes down 1, 2, 3. Bottom half of the 5th. Coming up next on BACB Sports.
The police called after midnight when they caught our son at a drinking party. It was a real wake-up call. My wife and I are really worried. We don't know if our son has a serious problem or if he's just hanging around with the wrong crowd. How do we know what to do? The police officer who brought our son home suggested we try Al-Anon family groups. He said it might help to hear how other parents are dealing with alcohol problems. I didn't want to go to an Al-Anon meeting. I didn't want anyone to think we had problems like that. And I didn't think our son's problem was that bad. When I decided to give Al-Anon a try, I found it was a safe place that keeps your problems private. It was very helpful. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
There's a good look at your overcast skies. It's kind of been the story of the day weather-wise as continue to plot along here. Bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be 5, 6, 7 of the Seaholm lineup. Riley Vita, who's made 2 of the best plays you're going to see a softball center fielder make. Playing in her secondary position. Her primary position's catcher. She makes a move out to center field, and she made 2 terrific diving plays and will lead things off 1 for 1 with a run scored. Was hit by a pitch, so she's been on base twice. Has an RBI. Her team trails this one 8-4. Chatter from that Seaholm bench just continues to pile up. I think they're even beating on one of the Gatorade jugs.
Reminds me
Vita
of,
hammers one into center field.
Reminds me of Cleveland, unfortunately. They got John Adams out there banging the drum. I really don't like that guy.
It gets pretty obnoxious after a while. Could you imagine having to sit out in left field?
Well, notice no one sits by him.
No, he does have that last row of seats all to himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they sell out. Nobody wants to sit by that guy. No friends for him. Would you be his friend, though?
No.
I wouldn't.
Boy toss.
One hop, one hop.
Shoving
No.
Pala, no.
That Jeep Cherokee stopping, letting the ball have the right of way in the parking lot.
Tessa Boitos, 1 for 2. Strikeout victim back in the 1st. Singled in the 3rd. And right now the Maples just need base runners. That pitch misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Riley Vita, your runner over at first base. 0-0, Riley Vita. Quite the number. Oof. Boitos went up, snap throw down to first. Vita got herself dirty.
On that last look, you could see the her hands on the handle of the bat. And, you know, most batters these days wear 2 batting gloves, but you see she has 1. But normally the batter has the glove on their bottom hand.
Right underneath yours. You're safe.
But back to the thought about the gloves. Normally the bottom hand is the one due to the sting from the bottom of the bat, but she goes the opposite way. Watch this as she goes. Her bottom hand does not have a glove, and her top hand does. So that's an interesting aspect for me as to why. It's normally 2, none, or bottom hand.
Right, because that top hand is kind of just your guide hand.
Yep. I always just used 1.
Did you?
Yep.
I was always at 2.
Yep. And then I took it off on the base paths. and I tucked it into my butt. In the field, I kept it on under my glove.
Of course.
Less sting when you accidentally palm the baseball.
Ooh, quick throw. Fly out to the right fielder. First out of the inning. Hawk Harrelson was the first Major League ball player to wear batting gloves, and Hawk Harrelson was notorious for going out golfing the day of games and came back with blisters and put on his golf gloves to bat.
Not a bad idea. Another quick throw.
Neil Landway, the pitcher, at the plate. 0 for 2. Went down swinging in both plate appearances, and should probably know it. I think we're basically running out of daylight here, Nick. We're in the 5th inning, and once again, our BACB Sports cameras are really doing a nice job of giving our viewers a little false sense of how light it is outside. We can really fool around with the irises on our cameras and provide you some extra light so we can bring you these images. And it's pretty dark out. We don't have any lights.
You can see in the background that the lights on the buildings in the back, those aren't there for show. Let me tell you, they're needed. It is dark. I was right before you mentioned that. I was thinking if this ball wasn't neon yellow, I'd be having a hard time picking it up myself.
So maybe we can get some of those cars that are parked behind us, turn them around and maybe shine their brights on the field to get the rest of this one in.
I will not do that because I don't feel like moving.
I don't know if we're going to get 7 innings in. I mean, and it's going to be ultimately, I would imagine, to the home plate umpire.
Yeah.
Maybe one more inning?
Maybe.
As Landway goes down swinging for the 3rd time. And I'll bring up Brooke Anton. She, too, was a strikeout victim. 8 strikeouts now for Tegan Lemberg. Another snap throw. And with the head first slide is Riley Vita. Gonna have to wash that uniform tonight. Anton, just 1 plate appearance. She, too, was a strikeout victim. Back in the 3rd. And you wonder if it is becoming a factor in whether these batters can see the softball.
Yeah.
And some of these at-bats here in the later half of this game have not been nearly as good.
And just a fly ball might be tough for an outfielder to pick up, gets lost in the dark sky.
So nice bounce back-to-back strikeouts as they're beginning to pile up. Tegan Lamberg.
That looks like
strong. So we head to the 6th inning. Falcons lead at 8-4. Nope, they're going to call it. We speculated how many more innings we were going to play, and in fact, the home plate umpire called it. So it will be a final score of 8-4. All 8 runs by the Groves Falcons were scored in that 1st inning, and that was enough here as we call this one due to darkness. Final score: Groves 8, Seaholm 4. It'll be a split, and that's pretty apropos for how the way these two teams play, that we would have a split. So we'll take a quick break here on BACB Sports, but when we come back, our post-game coverage.
In America, up to 1.6 million youth are homeless each year. Up to 40% of them identify as gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender.
Most of them have been thrown out of their homes or run away out of fear and rejection.
It's time for things to change.
America's next generation needs us to stand with them so they can stand on their own.
Get informed, get involved. Visit 40tonone.org.
Welcome back one final time to Birmingham Groves High School. Brad Fetters here wrapping up our coverage of this softball doubleheader. Groves takes Game 2, final score 8-4. Our player of the game is going to be sophomore pitcher Tegan Lemberg, who's now alongside my broadcast partner, Nick Buckler.
Thanks, Brad. Here with Birmingham Groves pitcher Tegan Lemberg. Tegan, really good turnaround in game number 2 of the doubleheader. You guys jumped out early on offense. You picked up a sacrifice fly yourself in that 1st inning, scoring 8 runs. Talk about what changed from game 1 to game 2.
I think we just knew we had to work together as a team, and that's what we did, and we came around and won the game.
You made the switch to the mound. Really impressive outing after a little slow start. finding the strike zone, but once you did, you really turned it around, racking up 9 strikeouts. Talk about kind of what Coach said when he came out and talked to you in that first inning, really turned it around.
He just told me to calm down, just throw, because I know I can always throw, and just work my best.
And your best turned out to be really impressive, picking up 9 strikeouts, split the rivalry. Talk about how a rivalry is important, especially seeing these girls throughout the season.
The rivalry just helps us get better, and it's a healthy competition between us and Seaholm.
Congratulations on picking up the win in game number 2 in a shortened game due to daylight. And Brad, back up to you.
All right, thank you so much, Nick Buckler, and our player of the game, Tegan Lenberg, who really had an impressive doubleheader, collecting 3 hits in Game 1 and racking up those 9 strikeouts in Game 2 as her Falcons take home Game 2 of the doubleheader. Final score 8-4, earning the split over the rivals from the Seaholm side, the Seaholm Maples. These two teams have an opportunity to meet once again this season, perhaps in district play. Really an impressive game number 2 for the Falcons as they scored those 8 runs all in the first inning, knocking 10 hits out in that first inning and giving them a team-high 12 hits total. So once again, final score 8-4 for my broadcast partner, Nick Buckler. And our director today, Greg Black, and the rest of our BACB sports crew, I'm Brad Ferris saying goodnight from Beverly Hills. Once again, final score 8-4. Gross Falcons taking Game 2 of this doubleheader.